I'll be upon you on Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Blessing of the Sabbath. Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Bethalanawa, Hashabath, Bashalawam, Thawada, Aman. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the Sabbath in peace. Thank you, so be it. Yahweh Kanan. The Ha'ai Ma'ad Asherayim Akkad, Psalms 121. Anya Harayim Ayanya Oh Haharim Ma'ayan Yabawa'a Isaiah Yabawa'a Mayahawa Sha'aisha Shamayim Wa'arataza La'a Yanathan Lamawat Regalia Yala'a Yanawum, Shashamarka, Kana, La'a, Yanawum, Wala'a, Yayashun, Shashlamar, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamaria, Yahweh, Tazalia, Al, Yad, Yam Yad, Yamam, Hashamash, La'a, Hakaya, Bayarak, La'a, Bayala, Yahweh, Yashamaria, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Napasha, Yahweh, Yashamar, Walakia, Wabawaya, Ma'aifa, Wa'ai, Aiwalam, Bahasham, Yahausha, Tawada, Aman.
Psalm 121. I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Lord shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. Amen.
Amen. Shema Yasharallah, hear, O Israel. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Hayrama, Yahweh, Akkad. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Hayrama, Yahweh, Akkad. Shema Yasharallah, Yahweh, Allah Hayanawa, Yahweh, Akkad. Wasalaka, Kababathnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kababathyanawa, Wala'a, Habiyanawa, O Nasayawan, Abo, Hawashinawa, Marai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwath, Waha'ala, Wahatha Para, La'ayolam, Aman.
Matthew 6 and 9. After this manner therefore pray, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen.
Amen. Ha-Asherai Matazawaf, the Ten Commandments. La'ah, Yahaya, Lakah, Alahayim, Akarim, Alpanya. La'ah, Daisha, Lakah, Hasol, Wala'ah, Daibadam. La'ah, Dalakwaka, Shamwa, Yahawa, Alahayika, Lashwa, Zakar, Ath, Hayawam, Hashabath, Lakodashwa, Kabad, Abiakar, Wa'amakar, La'ah, Daratazak, La'ah, Sana'ah, La'ah, Zakanab, La'ah, Da'ina, Shakur, La'ah, Dakamad, Ko, Asherah, Lara'ayaka, Amen.
Exodus 20:2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Amen.
Amen. Yeshabah, be seated. Now, leave it closed out. Barak the Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Asherah, Nathalanawa, Par Yahagapan, Thwada Amun, La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Ath, Yasha'Ella. I Madra upon you on Jerusalem, stand and face Jerusalem. Barakatha Yahweh, Hagadol, Rakawam, Abiyar, Wanara'ah, Aliyawan, Malak, Shol, Shemayim, Wa'aratazah, Wako, Durbarim, Kayayam, Wagam, Hamashiach, Mayahawa, Arawanawa, Ahabnawa, Haplah, Yahweh Yahweh Shai, Zakarnawa, Yahweh, Baratazawan, Anka, Yasha'Allah, Izanawa, Bana, Wa'asap, Yasha'Allah, O, Nanawa, Yamyun, Aitha, Kayawamyam, Makwadam, Baba Kusha, Shalat, Mayaka'ala, Wahataz Wadak, Alahayan, La, Maganawa, Rapanawa, Washamar, Alnawa, Ba'aikwar, Shalat, Haroka, Sho, Yahweh Shai, Lanawa, Lalamadnawa, Rabian, Kakama, Tabawana, Wada Aith, Sho, Debarka. Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Thawada, Thum Yad, Wa'iwalam, Aman. English translation. Blessed are you, Yahweh, the great, merciful, mighty, terrible, most high power, King of heaven and earth and all things living. And also the anointed from Yahweh, our Lord, our friend, the wonderful counselor, Yahweh Shai. Remember us, Yahweh, favorably, your people Israel. Help us build and gather Israel. Most high, we beg you, right now, like the days of old. Please send Michael and the righteous powers to protect us, heal us, and watch over us. Mainly send the spirit of Yahweh Shai to us to teach us much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of thy word. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you always and forever, so be it. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives us the law. Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Ethelanawa, Hathawara. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us light to see. Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Ethelanawa, Awar, Awaf. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the ram's horn to call the people. Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Ethelanawa, Korun, Ha'ayol, Lakurah, Ha'ain. Blessed are you, Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, that gives to us the olive oil to anoint Israel. Barakatha Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Asherah, Ethelanawa, Hashaman, Zayath, Lamashak, Yasha'ala. Shabbat, be seated. Come. All right, Shalom Yasha'Allah. To the brothers and sisters that's here in the school, those listening on the teleconference line, as well as those who are watching on the live stream. Shalom, peace, blessings to everybody on this Shabbat, on the Sabbath day. We're in the midst of, a lot of the turmoil that's going on down in Texas and Houston. We only pray for those righteous that's down there, that the Most High was able to find a way to protect them, sustain them, and provide for them amidst the plague that's going on in the earth right now. And, when there's still more to come. So we pray that the Most High will provide and protect all those who are righteous, who are striving for righteousness, and who understand his will and his love. So, to those brothers and sisters that's down there in Texas, send up prayers. Probably towards the end of the service, we'll find out if there's any means of providing support. If anybody knows of any means of providing support, whether it be money, clothes, what have you, we'll probably discuss that towards the end of the service. So with that being said, again, this is the Sabbath day, day of worship, day of rest. Come and be in tune with the Spirit of the Most High, do good deeds on the Most High's day. That's what we're here for. And we're going to, as we always do, go in and learn his word. We are Hayasha'Allah Kanas, which is the Congregation of Israel, found here in Philadelphia, Germantown Avenue. We're going to go through the scriptures, Old Testament, New Testament, as well as the hidden books called the Apocrypha. We go through this every Sabbath, and we try to learn as much as we can from the Most High's word. Today we'll be in the book of Revelations, the 18th and 19th chapters. to further along the visions that were shown to John the Revelator about what's going on in the last days, to warn us and to get us right before the second coming of Yahweh Shah, or Jesus Christ, known in English. So again, my name is Kahan Samak, Priest Samak. We're going to go through these scriptures, and as we do, I'm not sure if the brother was able to send out the link for those who want to follow along in the ancient Hebrew before we get into the English. But I'm going to read Revelations, the 18th chapter first, and then go to the English with edification. All right. So Revelations 18 starts with Akaria. Is that what you see, Art? All right. Clean my glasses. In the meantime, if Baba could shop, somebody could just get me a cup of something to drink, I really appreciate it. It's just something, whatever's in the fridge, some thought out. All right, so it starts off as Akia, so like Akaria Kun Ra'aya Siya Mala'ak Akud Yawa Rad Mun Hasha Mayim Ashra Lawa Shalatun Gada Wo Waha Ratiza Ha'aya Ra Maka Badwa, verse 2. Wayakora Bakak Bakwa Wo Eyes Lamar Napa La Wada Napa La Babol Hagada Wa La Wathaha Ya Nawa Ha'ai Yaryan Wama Shamar Lako Roka Tama Wama Shamar Lako Iwap Tama Wana Ma'as, verse 3. Kya Mayayan Kamath Zana Watha Shathwa Ko Ha Goryam Wama Lakim Aratiza Zanwa Zanwa Aimha Wasa Karya Aratiza Masha Pa'aith Tha'ai Nagyaha Ha'ai Shar Ha'aisha Yarwa, verse 4. Wa'asha Mai Kwol Akar Mun Hashamayim Ha'amar Tazawa Mama Na Anya Pun Thaka Barwa O Hata Athyaha Wapun Thakwakwa Mamak Wasyaha, verse 5. Kya Kata Athyaha Haga Yaywad, so like Haga Yaywa Aid Lasha Mayim Wayaza Kar Alahayim Ath I one Wasyaha, verse 6. Shalamwa La Gama Wala Shaga Mala Lakam Wa Aishwa Laha Kapoyam Kapa I La Baka Was Ashra Masaka Maksakwa Laha Kapoyam, verse 7. Ka'ashra Hathar wa Mama Waha Tha'ai Nagha Kun Thunwa Laha Kabo Wa'a Bo Kya Ama Ra Baga Bala Babha Anya Yashabdiya Malaka Wala'a Ahaya Ala Manam Wa'abo La'a Ara verse 8. Iokan Ragai Baya Wum Akud Thaba Na Makwas Yaham Mawath Wa Abo Wa Ra'ib Watha Shavrap Bamwa Ashkaya Khazak Yahweh Alahayim Hashapat Athar. Verse 9. Waya Bakwa, Waya Sapadwa Alyaha, Ma Lakim Aratiza, Ashra, Zanwa, Wahatha I Nagwa, Aimha, Ra Salak Baratham, Ath, Aishan, Shara Patha, verse 10, Wama Rama, boom. What is this? Wamara Khawak, Ya'ai Madwa, Ma Panya, Aya Math Ain Wanya, Wa Amarwa, Awa Ya, Laka, Babo, Ha'ayar, Hagada Wala, Ha'ayar, Haka Zakwa, Kaya Basha Ai Akath Ba'a Masha Patka, verse 11. Wasakaria Ha'aratiza Baka Yum Wamatha Abolyum Alyaha Kaya Atha La'a Yakwana Aiwad Ayash Ath Masha An Yawatham, verse 12. Ath Masha, merchandise. There's merchandise. Masha. Zahab, it's gold. Wakasap, silver. Bun Yakwara, Wapanyanyam, precious stone. Waba Wataza, Wa'araga Salat, Wa'araga Mun, Wama Salat, Wamashim, Wayashanya, Wako, I Tazaya, Basham, Wako, Koya, Shana Habyam, Wako, Koya, Aitaza, Yakur, Wakoya, Naka Shath, Waba Razol, gotta be iron. Is it iron? Yep, iron. Waba Razol, Brazil. Washa Yash, verse 13. Wakwa Numwan, Salat. Wakwa Numwan, Wakwa Tarath, Samyam, Wamar, Walab, Wanam, Wayayan, Washa Mun, Wasalath, Wakatyam, Wamakwana, Wataza An, Wasawasyam, Wama Rakabwath, Waga Yawath, Wana Pash, Adam, verse 14. Wahama Gad, Yim Makamad, Napashak, Zowa, Mumka, Wako, Shaman, Wama Tazahayar, Abad, Mumka, Wala'a, Thama Taza Iwad, verse 15. Warako Yaham, Ashra, Yeshem, Ya'ai, Shayarwa, Mamanob, Ya'ai Madwa, Mara Khawak, Mapanyam, Selak Mapanya, Aya Math, Ainyawa, Selak Ainyawa, Anya, Selak Ain Wayam, Wabakiwa, Wahatha Ka, Selak Wahatha Abowa, verse 16, Wa'a Marwa, Ayawa, Selak Awaya, Ha'ayar, Hagada Allah, Mama Kasa, Bashash, Wa'aragyam, select Wa'aragmam, Wa'aragman, Washunya, Wama Kala La, Bazahab, Wa'aban, Yakwa Ram, Wapara Yanyan, Kaya, Basha'ir, Akath, Haka Rab, Aishar, Gada Wo, Kaza, verse 17. Wako, Kabo, Wako, Ba'ayo, Ma'iba Rath, Wahama Lakim, Wako, Aisha, Mala'a Ka, Mayam, Salak Bayam, I Madwa, Maraka Wak, verse 18. Waya Taza Aikwa, Bara Thum, Ainash, Shara Patha, La'amar, Maya, Ba'arian, Ka'ayar, Haga Dawala, Waya Zarakwa, Ipar, Io, Ra'ashaham, Waya Taza Aikwa, Bakar, Wasa Pawad, La'amar, Ayo, Awa, Awaya, Ha'ayar, Hagada Wala, Ashara, Baha, Ha'aisha, Yarwa, Mahawanab, Ko, Ashara, Laham, Ana Yawath, Bayam, Kayam, Basha'ai, Akath, Hakara, Ba. Verse 20. Runwa, Aliyaha, Hashamayim, Wahashala Yakim, Hakwadashim, Wahana Ba'ayim, Salak, Wahana Ba'yayim, Kaya, Shapat, Alahayim Ath, Mashapatkam, Mama Na, verse 21. Waya Shah, Mala'ak, Nawar. Okay. I think it's back. It may take about a few seconds, but Aqua, Vicky, just let me know if you see it come back online. Okay, the water. So in Revelations 18:1, you said online, right?
Yes, online.
Okay. So Revelations 18:1, it says, and after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. So in the last chapters, when we were reading in 16 and 17, we're reading about the judgment or the witness appearing about the mystery Babylon the Great and what was going to happen with the 10 kings, the great whore, and the war that was going to be done or fought in ways against Yahushua when he appears, right? So again, these are visions that were shown to John the Revelator by an angel, right? It's not Yahushua, but these are visions shown to John the Revelator by way of Yahushua, by way of the Most High, pertaining to the things that's going to come in the end. So now after he's seen things pertaining to the kingdom of Esau in the last days, which represents the 7 heads and 10 horns, now he says he sees another angel come down from heaven. So it's a different vision, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. So he's seeing the angel descend down on earth, and everything began to be enlightened, right? Or as far as for, we know, the light, it deals with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, not just light just shining on the earth. So you can link this with Ezekiel, the 43rd chapter, verses 1 and 2. Ezekiel 43. Verses 1 and 2. And it reads in Ezekiel 43:1, it says, afterward, he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east. And behold, the glory of the power of Israel came from the way of the east. And his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory, right? So it says when the angel, the power of the Most High came, the whole earth was shine with his glory, right? And we know we shine with the Most High's glory by way of keeping his word, right? Wisdom maketh a man's face to shine, like it tells you in Ecclesiastes 8:1. So now the Most High Yahushua and the angels have this wisdom, this power, this glory that enlightens the earth, right? To those who receive it especially, right? And then they become lights in the earth, or powers in the earth. All right. So that was Ezekiel 43:1-2 to link with the first verse. Shalom. So now as we go back to Revelations 8:18, and we have verse 2 now, it says, and he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird, right? So this angel that's descending is yelling out with a strong voice, Babylon is fallen, and has become the habitation of devils, right? So at once, when it was a great empire, right, over time it began to get wicked and more wicked. But as the wicked, as it become more wicked, is where its empire started to fall, right? So now the angel is signifying it by saying this great city Babylon is fallen, right? Meaning it's on its way down now, right? It says, and is become the habitation of devils. Lots of deception and lies are found here, because a devil, the word devil means deceiver, right? So a lot of lies and deception is here in Babylon, right? And it says, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird, right? So when you enter into Babylon, not just physically, but when you enter into Babylon mentally and spiritually, you now become a part of the deception. You become a part of, you know, they say birds of a feather flock together. And how it says here, a cage of every unclean. These are not clean birds or righteous birds, the things that you should be eating and dealing with. These are hateful, unclean spirits that the Most High and Yahushua are describing here. Show on, brother. That they're describing of what they're seeing in this Babylon, in this city, in the last days, and how and what is making it fall, right? Like we always mention, sin is a reproach to any people. Same thing, right? This is now the reproach that has reached up to the heavens, to the Most High, and now the judgment of the Most High is come upon Babylon. It's come upon Edom, that they now has to fall, right?
Where you at, bro?
Revelations, the 18th chapter, and we at the 2nd verse. All right, come. So I'm gonna go to the book of Isaiah as a precept. Isaiah 21 and 6. Let me know if anybody got it, or those who will get it. So in Isaiah 21 and 6, it says, for thus have the Lord said unto me, go set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses, and a chariot of camels. And he hearkened diligently with much heed. And he cried, a lion, my Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods have he broken unto the ground. So that's going to be a judgment of the Most High, that he's setting watchmen. And who are the watchmen? We're the watchmen, right? We're the ones who are supposed to be watching what's going on. We're declaring these things out there when we speak to people, prophesy to people, right? We're watching the signs of the times, and we are seeing the destruction and the fall of Babylon. So this watchman said, he yelled out like a lion that says, listen, Babylon is fallen, and all her images, all her false gods and things that she's set up, that she's pulled from all of the nations to set up in Babylon, is beginning to get destroyed. The Most High is going to destroy all of it, right?
Right.
So I'm going to stop there. And then I'm going to go to, that was Isaiah 21, 6 to 9. Now I'm going to jump to Jeremiah.
Come on. All that I don't get, can you make it up for me?
Say it again.
All that I don't get, can you make it up for me?
What are you saying?
Give me a review.
We just started. This is like the second precept, so you're not missing much. You can just, when we come down, we'll just get the notes from anybody. Jeremiah 51, 7th verse.
Jeremiah 51.
Mm-hmm. So it says in Jeremiah 51 and 7, Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so, she may be healed. Right? So we read this a few weeks back in the previous chapters pertaining to Babylon, and how the prophets of old also all saw the visions and prophesied about the destruction and fall of Babylon. Even the prophets like Isaiah, Jeremiah, who were in the midst of the Babylonian captivity, still not only, they didn't prophesy not of just the Babylon that was then of that time, but they prophesied of the Babylon that was to come. That ultimate Babylon that would be the last one to rule in any of the kingdoms before righteousness entered in. So he's seeing the same thing here, or saying the same thing here, that Babylon is fallen. Right? It's going to be destroyed. So you could also go to Isaiah, the 14th chapter. Isaiah, the 14th chapter. And I'm going to start at 22. Isaiah 14, 22. To 23. So in Isaiah 14 and 22, it says, for I will rise up against them, saith the Lord of hosts, and cut from Babylon the name and remnant, and son and nephew, saith the Lord. I will also make it a possession for the bittern and pools of water, and I will sweep it with the besom of destruction, saith the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts have sworn, saying, surely as I have thought, so shall it come to pass, and as I have purposed, so shall it stand. Right? So this is the judgment again of the Lord bringing destruction upon Babylon, or he's the one that's going to rise up to destroy Babylon, as it was prophesied from the past. John the Revelator was still of the past, and he saw the same visions as the prophets who were before him, his time. And they all saw the same visions. All right. So all of these link up with the second verse. That was Isaiah 21, 6-9. Jeremiah 51, 7-8. And Isaiah 14 and 23.
And 24.
And 24. Come. Isaiah 22 to 24.
14, right?
14, 22 to 24. Come.
Revelation 18 and 19.
That's the chapters that we're reading. Yes.
Yeah,
Come.
Revelation 18 and 19.
Come. All right, so now let's go back to Revelations 18. We're at the third verse now. It says, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance or power of her delicacies. Right? So as a reason, it says the nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Right? What is it talking about when it talks about the wine? When they was drinking the wine, what was they drinking? Philosophies, which is made up of what? Lies. Right? It's what we linked this back before in Micah 2 and 11. When we read this in several chapters back, we linked up the wine with Micah 2 and 11 because it is synonymous with being a forger or purpose with lies, falsehood. Micah Mica, chapter 2, verse 11.
Hey, could you run it down to me again?
You got brothers sitting right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, you got brothers sitting right across from you with the notes. You can,
Anybody-
they'll give it to you.
Micah what?
Micah 2 and 11. Right? So when we read this before, I think we read it already twice before as it pertains to falsehoods and lies being compared to wine. Right? When you drink, a person who speaks drinking wine comes speaking falsehood is the same thing what Babylon, Esau, Edom does. That's what he gives to the other nations. It's what was given to us, right? We were given a lie of who we are, right? We was given a lie of who the Most High is, a lie of who Yahushua is, a lie of what peace is, right? A lie of what economics is, right? A lie of what education is, history, right? There's a lot of those things, and these other nations have partaken in it, right? Then it says, with the wrath of her fornication. What are they talking about when it said fornication? This is not, say again? Spiritual fornication, right? This is still dealing with spiritual fornication. How so? Because we just read in the other chapter, as far as for Babylon has fallen, and all of the images of her gods, right? Because she has been a succubus to just engulf and receive all the different philosophies here, right? And is now allow all people to just pick and choose which one you want to just deal with, right? So in Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12, we link that up with spiritual fornication.
That go with verse 3.
That goes with verse 3. Wisdom of Solomon 14 and 12 says, for the devising of idols was the beginning of spiritual fornication, and the invention of them the corruption of light. Right?
Okay, Wisdom of Solomon, what then?
Chapter 14, verse 12. So parts of this is a review of what we've already read in the previous chapters, because the angel in showing John the Revelator the vision mentioned this already previously at least 2 or maybe 3 times of what the nations have been submersed themselves with in dealing with the great whore or Babylon or the beast or the dragon. So now reading it again in 18 and 3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings, which are the other rulers of the earth, have committed fornications with her, meaning have entered into her policies, entered into her religions, entered into all these things, because as we read before, if you don't receive the mark, what you can do? What are the words when it says in Revelations 13, if you don't get the mark of the beast, then you can't do what?
Receive.
You can't buy or sell, right? You can't do trade.
Okay, that was Mark.
The mark, no, the mark just doesn't, the mark doesn't deal with buying and trading. The mark deals with the philosophies, their ways, their views, their religion. If you don't accept their policies and philosophies, then you are not able to buy or sell. Say again?
Then you won't be able to receive the mark.
No, if you don't receive the mark, then you cannot buy or sell. If you receive or accept the mark, which is the philosophies, then you can buy or sell.
Okay.
That's why we're reading, it says in Revelations 18 and 3, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. They're waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacy, right? Why do they wax rich? For quiet.
Because they accept to participate in their policies and agreements in their country. The
Right.
same policy they have here, they tell the people over there and they're on House of Congress. Here's a bill. You got to sign this in order to participate in commerce.
Right. Right. So they accept a lot of the same philosophies and adopt the same policies that is here. And then that gives them a gateway to trade, to opportunity, to power, to position, right? That gives them the seat. So that's why it says here in Revelations 18:3, for all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. Right? So these kings of the earth, the ones who are ruling, the top notch ones, have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich. Right? So now those who are the leading rulers, those who are in cahoots, they're able to do a lot of the things that America or Babylon allows them to do.
Right. So they can go to China, they can go to different countries and able to trade because their philosophy and doctrine is aligned with the same philosophies that they use here. So those people can go and invest money so they can trade with each other.
Right. Exactly. So this is how they're made rich. Now, later on in this chapter, we'll come back to the merchants and how the ancient prophets in the Old Testament saw the same exact thing that John the Revelator is seeing. That's why don't ever fall victim to the saying of we're living in the time of revelations, because we're not just living in the time of revelations. We're living in the time of Jeremiah. We're living in the time of Isaiah. We're living in the time of Ezra. We're living in the last days that have been prophesied throughout the whole Bible. It was mentioned in the Old Testament. It was mentioned in the Apocrypha. It's mentioned in the New Testament. Right. So it's not like Revelations is the last book, which it is physically the last book, or if you go from cover to cover chronological order, it is the last book in the Bible. And it's like, okay, we've gotten to the end of the book. Everything else in the previous books, chapters have happened. And now we're just no, everything that's in the Old Testament has not happened, right? Everything in the Apocrypha has not happened. The same way everything in the New Testament has not happened, specifically what we're reading in Revelations. They're all in the same breath. That's why we can go to read what's in Revelations and precept it with what is in Ezekiel or Isaiah or Obadiah, right? Because they're all prophecies that have not happened that are speaking about the same thing. No, it hasn't happened in the past. They prophesied about it in the past, but it hasn't happened yet. Right, right. That's when brothers read the book of Obadiah, right? It's only one chapter. Portion of what happened in Obadiah has happened. But then when you start reading on in the chapter, those things have not happened yet. The judgment that is supposed to happen to Edom hasn't happened yet. Right? Especially, huh?
Because he's still here.
Exactly. You're supposed to be destroyed when you read it in Obadiah. That hasn't happened yet. So that's why I said when people make that claim we're living in Revelations, don't think that, yeah, we are living in Revelation. Not to say that it's not, but it's not only Revelations. It's the rest of the books as well. And they're pieces to the puzzle to give the whole complete picture. So when you really look at it, and I was thinking about this before, when you look at it, all of this was like, and I don't want to make the comparison to the series again, but it's almost like I'm a Game of Thrones watcher, and throughout the whole series of watching the Game of Thrones, all you are thinking and have been prepped for is the end battle that's to come, the end of all wars. Like you have little wars here and there, but you're anticipating the end.
It's the end.
Right? Yeah, now we're in the end.
That's coming to pass.
Right. But now during the time of Jeremiah and Ezra, we were in as a nation other captivities. We were in the Babylonian captivity under the actual Ethiopians and them back in ancient times. Right. But the Most High had him prophesying about this end of this kingdom, this captivity that's coming, that we're in now, that's supposed to come to an end. They were prophesying about that. All of them.
That this all will come to pass.
Right. They weren't so much focused on the other little captivities that we were going through. They have made mention of it. Daniel's made mention of the Greek Empire that was coming and so forth and so on. But all of them, Daniel included, all of them prophesied about this last empire. So when you put it in perspective, the Most High had to almost 4,000, 5,000 have been prepping us for this.
Okay.
Right? That's why Jeremiah says there's not going to be any other exodus like this. We're not going to say the Most High brought us up out of Egypt, because that's the greatest exodus that Israel has had to date. No more shall be that I'm the Lord of Egypt that brought you up. I'm not the Lord that brought you up out of Egypt, but I'm the one that brought you up out of the land of the north, which is here, right? That's going to be big. So even then, we're waiting how are we going to get out of these Babylonians?
Right.
But he was thinking about that Babylon later on, right? So again, I say all that to say the whole Bible has bits and pieces and remnants of the last days and how we were going to receive our salvation that we're living in, and not just one book. So now back to Revelation 18. What verse?
18 and 4.
18 and 4.
3. That's if you finish it.
Yes, come. So now, verse 4 says, and I heard another voice I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. So when it says, come out of her, my people, what is it talking about?
Come on. Us. Stop following America with.
Stop following Babylon's ways, because not just here, right? Because again, the other kings of the earth have all drank the wine. They all drank the Kool-Aid. They all are teaching this to their people. Now we are scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. So you got some of us in UK, some of us in Holland, some of us in Germany, some of us in Spain, Italy, France, so forth and so on. In Asia, we all over. So now it's not specifically the physical place, it is the policies, the philosophies, the doctrine that it wants us to come out of. So it's a mental exodus, right? Come out of that mind state that has been covered throughout the earth. Y'all come on.
Jeremiah 10 and 2.
Jeremiah 10 and 2.
It says, thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Come on. Since you're in Jeremiah, stay there. And go to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter.
Jeremiah 50th chapter.
What was that first verse?
The one that Yahweh read.
Con.
That was Jeremiah 10 and 2. So which verse did I say? Jeremiah. No. Go to 51. Jeremiah 51 and 6.
Did you want to 6?
Con. Got it, y'all can.
Jeremiah 51 and 6. He says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, For this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
So again, it says flee out of the midst of Babylon. It's not a physical fleeing, right? Because Babylon, their people, their philosophy is everywhere. The Most High is jacking up, not just here, right? Everywhere. So it says, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. So it's your soul that the Most High is after. It's your spirit that the Most High is trying to save, right? And how do you save? How do you save your spirit? By doing the right thing, by doing the Lord's will, right? That's why even in the Gospel, when you read in Matthew, the 7th chapter, when he says, for many shall come in that day saying, Lord, Lord, but Yahweh shall say, depart from me, ye that do iniquity. I never knew you, because you are doing iniquity. Your spirit or your soul is immersed in iniquity, not doing the right thing. So if you're not doing the right thing, and Yahweh shall say, depart from me. We all trying to draw closer to him. But if he say, listen, you got to go, I ain't dealing with you, right? Then that's what's going to let you going to be cast out. So the destruction that's going to come, you're going to be a part of that. You're going to be in it. That's why it says, depart from Babylon, that you receive not of her plagues, right? That's why I said earlier that a lot of times, you know, we have to make sure we separate, you know, adversity from punishment, right? Adversity from punishment. So sometimes we have to go through adversity to prove us, right? Like Job went through adversity to make sure that not only for himself, but it was a testimony that sometimes the Lord puts obstacles and things, or allows obstacles and things to come before you to see how you persevere, right? And it's not, it's not to kill you, but it's to cause to strengthen your faith and to bring you closer to the Lord. Yeah, exactly. So that's why even, and how we deal with each other. So dealing with the situation down there in Texas, you may have brothers in camps that are that's in Texas, right? That's down there, and they probably on boats. They're probably in a what do you call them? A shelter. And they're in the shelter, probably lost certain things, but now in the shelter, and is teaching brothers and sisters in the shelter while they're in the shelter, right? These are just like how the apostles went through things, shipwrecked and so forth and so on. But they got shipwrecked. This one, it was like he almost died and he came back to life. One would say, look, I don't know if that's the right thing. Look what you done gone through. Look what you're going through. But all the while, Yahweh was there with Paul and those brothers while they were going through those situations, right? So it wasn't that we always know and understand what's the next step, what's the next place, where does the Most High Yahweh have me? We think I'm just going to be here. You think you might just be there, but the Most High Yahweh got it that you're supposed to be over there. Well, how are you going to get there? Something happens, and now that's all gone. Now you're on the move, right? That's why he says to be like a pilgrim in these last days, right? You can't hold yourself down to think that this is going to be it. This is my rest. This is my home. He tells you in Micah 2:10, this is a place to destroy you. Thinking that way, it'll destroy you. So you have to be able to understand that sometimes things will come that'll cause you to go from one place to another. And with that, you have to pick up, but still keep grounded in the truth, in the spirit, so that you can carry on. Right? But quiet.
I don't know if you had a chance to log on last night. That's pretty much the topic that we talked about.
Oh, okay.
Temptation and test is not a bad thing.
Right. As a spirit, then. Yeah, it's a spirit. So, you know, as we're reading as far as for that you receive not of her plagues, that's why I make sure separate adversity from punishment, right? Or destruction, like what the nations are going to get or the 2/3 are going to get, as opposed from what you're going through is an adversity, trial, a tribulation, to see how you see how you deal with it, right? Some people may say, well, man, I done all this now. I don't have my car no more. I don't have this no more. You know what? This is all this was for? Well, I'm looking at this other brothers, the brothers over in Ohio. They good.
Okay.
How is it that I'm out here like this?
Right.
Man, I gotta go and I gotta find something else. This
That's the
man,
problem people
yeah, and that causes your faith to wane, right? You start doubting the Most High, right? You start saying, well, maybe this ain't it. Maybe what I was thinking ain't it, and maybe I need to go and start dealing with that over there. The Utaudi brothers, they good. They got a big place over here. All of them going there. Maybe I should go over there, right? So we got to make sure we put things into perspective, because in these last days, things is gonna happen, right? I was out the country, but I was watching the news, all the stuff that was happening there, and then they're saying another one's coming, right? That may come up the eastern coast. They don't know, and if it does, what may happen, right? We may be out of power for a week or two. What happens? How do we sustain? How do we survive? But all the while, does your faith wane? You say, man, these are last days. Maybe I'm about to be caught up in it. I got to fend for myself. All these things, like the brother said, temptation jumps into your mind and your spirit and starts to have you wonder and think a whole bunch of different stuff. That's Satan. Remember, his job is to deceive you, right? To make you believe or to make you doubt or to make you consider something else than what it is here. Pequod, Yaukanan, and then Pathat.
To pick back on what you just mentioned about Satan, and that's how Satan operates. It waits for you to feel the pain of the test that you're going under, you under, and then you manipulate the test to start having you doubting the Most High. Say, you know what? I don't know about that, man.
Right.
And they separate you from the Most High. So it's not the test that's the problem. It's when you manipulate the pain that you're having going through the test.
Okay.
He uses that and manipulate it and make you start doubting the Most High.
Okay.
But the test, you got to go through it. If you go through it the way you're supposed to, then you pass.
Okay.
Just like you in class, you've been going to class and into the subject, and in 3 months, the professor said you're about to have a test.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with the test, right?
Right.
You can pass the test, you can fail. If you fail, you start over again and you take the test.
Right.
So it's the same thing with the temptation and the adversities that you go through.
Okay.
So the problem is not the adversity, it's how you react and how you, let's say, and manipulate the pain you have.
Okay. How you handle it.
Right.
You go to
Yaukanan.
Texas once in a while, right?
Hmm?
You go to Texas once in a while.
I was just there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, near Austin, north. It's north of there, central.
I just want to read Daniel 3:25. Daniel 3:25. He said, he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. So we say the Most High is with us
Mm-hmm.
in adversities and things like that. So they're in the fire furnace. I mean, there's fire around the whole thing.
Right,
As intensified.
right. I mean, their judgment of them going into it was that they was going to go into the furnace and be burned,
Right.
right? So they got all the way up until that point where they could have been killed, burned up. And what happened at that moment came Yahushua and did what? Changed the elements where it didn't affect none of them.
Right.
Right? Or the same thing with Daniel's in the lion's den. His fate was that he was going to be put into a lion's den, and what the likely outcome, they was going to eat him up.
Right.
But he got in there. Who came? Yahushua came. Changed the spirit of those lions, right? Changed the spirit of those lions. They wasn't looking to eat him or ravish him. They was cool. It's like a little pet. They just sitting down there not even worrying about them. You know, Yahushua, you know, when we look into Genesis, Adam went out and named all the animals. You know how they tried to Esau trying to make like Tarzan. He was a king of the jungle, and he knew how to. Adam was the one who went out and named them all. But these are animals who are in their zones of how the Most High created them. Here's Yahushua, who's the spirit of Adam. When you read it in Corinthians, here's Yahushua now, who has that power to manipulate and deal with the animals. Like, here's a lion coming at you, and he can just change the whole perspective. That lion just sit down there and just come up and start crawling up to you. Look at the lion, little lion like a little cat.
Yeah.
And he crawling up because they have control of the animals that was created, right? But it wasn't about Yahushua's control of the animals. It was about your test of your faith leading up to that point.
Right.
Did you ever say to yourself, well, man, forget the Most High. This what you're gonna bring me to? Is this this is what it is? This is my end after I did all that work? Is this the end? Ah, man, forget it. Whereas then yeah, because now you lost faith. You lost faith, right? Whereas if you stay true to form up until that last time, that's why even Job and some of them, they said, well, you know what? Hey, I would rather not even been born, right? I ain't that worthy. I ain't the greatest. I ain't this. So it's not that I'm going to condemn the Most High. Maybe the sin in me just, I just deserve it, right? Most High is righteous. Yahushua is righteous and perfect, not me. So certain things, when we go through those adversities, it's to test and to strengthen your faith, right? And not to call it the wane. Like Aquai said, Satan's job is to cause you to doubt and wane. Once you get that doubt, then you start. I've seen many brothers who come in the truth, and this is the truth, and they in the truth, right? And they powerful swordsmen in the truth. Like I you know, kind of looked up to them brothers who probably came after. I was like, man, that brother's on fire.
Okay.
Right? But then over time, that temptation come in, that doubt set in, and they start to lose that fire. That flame starts to get dimmer and dimmer. Right? It was a bright flame and it started getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller.
Is that what happened to Savvy?
Not just him, a whole lot of brothers. Right? Anybody, brothers, sisters, where it just that whatever that thing is that Satan uses to now cause you to doubt this or take your focus off of this, it'll just start diminishing. And now we're left sitting here saying to ourselves, dang, man, that brother or that sister was on point. What happened? How could that happen to them? No way. What
happened is you won't know. Only the brother knows. Because the trial you was going, the trial of brother or sister was going under, you weren't there with them.
Right.
So that decision, when they made it, you're not there. It might be not even something related to the truth. It might be something they going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
And then the pain is so stressful.
Mm-hmm.
And then Satan comes and says, see, you pray, you go to the Sabbath service, and you're keeping the law, you're teaching people.
You see what happened?
Man, you ain't gonna come out of this. Why can the Most High answer your prayer? Go ahead, pray to him. You pray and nothing happens. And next thing you know, you say, you know what? I don't know about this. And then you're out. So that's the way it happens. But usually sometimes another thing that is difficult, especially on a personal level, to step back in the situation you're going through, to analyze yourself, say, man, I fell on this one. Right? Say, yeah, if you fell on this one, say, yeah, I fell on this one. I gotta try again. Right. But if you cannot self-judgment, be a self or judgment to your own self, sometimes you don't see it. Sometimes you gotta be honest with yourself, say, man, yeah, I messed up. This one was tough, man, I messed up.
Yeah.
Because the key is sometimes you fail tests, and just like in school, you fail.
Yeah.
But the key is it's not to get yourself to start sinning. Say, you know what? There's no way I'm gonna ever get this.
Right, you gotta just keep on get that one right.
Right.
Hey, come on.
Hold on, Yahweh was next. Then you next.
I don't want to go read the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Yahusha was walking on the water, right? This is Matthew 14:28. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou, bid me come unto thee on the water. And he said, come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. But when he saw the wind boisterous, he was afraid and began to sink. He cried, saying, Lord, save me. And immediately Jesus stretched forth his hand and caught him and said unto him, O thou of little faith, wherefore didst thou doubt?
Right.
So he was walking on the water, and then he doubted a little bit. Then he saw that the wind and all that stuff. That he saw.
That's what caused it. It says he was walking, and then all of a sudden the wind started picking up. Oh man, blowing. And then he took away his focus from Yahushua and start worrying about the wind. Start being fearful of the wind, right? Start looking around at that. And then what happened? It caused doubt in his mind. He's not looking here and he's looking all around. It's like, well, maybe, man, is a storm coming? I don't know. Maybe I got to go and do some other stuff. And you start playing around with this and that, and you started to sink.
Okay.
So that's a beautiful link up, because that's what happens. You can be strong in this, and all of a sudden, stuff start coming.
So I wonder, is the Most High really in this particular thing?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, you start thinking about this. You start looking at that. You start hearing this. Oh, he's this Catholic. He's what do they call him when you don't pay taxes? Sovereign.
Oh, Brother Paul, who was it that got swallowed by the well?
Jonah. Yeah, Jonah was rebellious. He didn't want to go where he was told to do what he was supposed to do.
But do what you want to do, right?
Con.
God told you.
Pathak.
Yeah.
What was that you read, Salah? What was that you read? What was the verse? Chapter and verse?
This was Matthew 14. I read 28 to 31.
That was Matthew 14, 28, 31.
Make up with 4.
Con.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pathak.
Not even like to call names, but put an example from the Bible.
Okay,
Mhm.
it's like when they had the New Orleans, and they told everybody to get out of New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and the mayor, even the mayor, he had to jump up there and say, all right, this last morning, everybody get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There's some people that did listen, and some people that didn't listen.
Mm-hmm.
Some people didn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they suffered the consequences. But the way that hurricane was coming, it was coming like into, even though we're in a valley, it was coming toward our way at that particular time. But the Most High, it was coming toward us, but he changed the course of it. Because everybody, he said, all right, you know how they make that special system alarm?
Mm-hmm.
He said, if anything happens, you know what I mean, you got to make a move. That came on. So that let you know that it was a wild alert. But the Most High changed it because it was coming toward us. But he changed the course. I'll never forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody was in the closets with the pillows and everything, and the cellars and everything like that.
When was this?
When the New Orleans had that hurricane.
Well, you got to keep in mind, right? For those people who are in the projection of where hurricanes come, right? Because you have hurricanes that come up in the Gulf, then you have hurricanes that come up the Atlantic. That's where it usually hits, like Florida a lot, right? So it's either going to come up under and come within the Gulf, or it's going to come up right on Florida, North Carolina, like what they're talking about. What is it, Irma? That's what they're projecting Irma to do. So you don't know what you don't know, because sometimes they've lived through several mini hurricanes. A lot of people down in Florida, Miami, lived through many hurricanes.
Right.
So that's what happens when it's like, listen, you got to leave. This one is going to, man, I done been through 3 or 4 of them. I'm going to stay right here. Right. So they do. And then, you fall victim to, this one may be worse than what you thought it was going to be. And you flooding out and that be the case. You want to ask him a question on what he's talking about?
Yeah, what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You said, where was you at when it happened? You said you were down there?
No, I was in my house.
He was here. We're talking about watching on the news.
Watching on the news
Yeah.
when that alarm system came out and said after the New Orleans, they said it was coming into the East Coast over here and in our area.
And they told
And
you
they
to
put
get
that
your
alarm system on there and said, watch out. The alarm system is on.
And
You gotta make some kind of
in New Orleans, you're talking
but
about.
the Most
No,
High,
he said here.
he changed it.
He said it was coming after us too.
It was.
From New Orleans to Jersey, Philly?
But it was coming up the East Coast. It was coming up the coast.
But it slowed down.
It
Got-
slowed down.
Oh,
when
you
it
mean
got
after the fact? You mean
Yeah.
after?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
After that.
Because I want to know this. It was in that direction, but
Coming toward us.
it lost the strength before
Right.
it had to go.
Right.
I think we did get rain though. We got
Yeah,
rain.
we got a lot
we
of
always
rain.
get rain.
We got a lot of rain for it. You're right.
Yeah,
Kabar.
we did get rain.
We got the rain, but somehow it lost its energy when it got near us.
Right.
Yeah.
Because even though we in the valley, it was coming toward us.
Okay.
But we lost its energy when it got near us. That's why they made that alert. It's-
Just in case.
Just in case.
Amen.
So you could also, going back to Revelations 18:4, you could also link up Isaiah 52. Isaiah, what did I say? 52 and 11.
11. It's still like over 4, huh?
Con.
Yes.
And also Matthew. Actually, not Matthew, Mark.
Mark.
All right, hold that, Mark, till after we read Isaiah 52 and 11, which it says, depart ye, go ye out from thence, touch no unclean thing. Go ye out from the midst of her, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord, right? So we're supposed to be like a picture or a cistern that has water in it, spiritual water, the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Lord. Just like how Yahushua said in St. John 7:38, St. John 7:38, where it says, he that believeth on me, as the scripture have said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water, right? So this is the same thing where we're supposed to be to bear the vessels of the Lord, right? We're supposed to breathe that living water. We're supposed to bring the good tidings and all the righteousness that the Most High has commanded us and ordained us to do, right? So that's the same thing Isaiah is saying, depart ye out, right? Don't touch no unclean thing, meaning leave those philosophies alone. Be ye clean or be righteous, right? Be good, pure, righteous servants of the Lord. So that's Isaiah 52 and 11. And I also mentioned John 7:38.
Right.
Isaiah what?
52:11. John 7:38. And then Pequod has one in Mark.
That's St. John, right?
St. John.
After this, he get Matthew 14, 28, and 31. That was before the 2 verses.
Matthew what?
14, verse 28 to 31. My people on faith.
20, you said Matthew 14, 28 to
31.
31.
Then Isaiah.
And what does that link up with?
Matthew.
4.
Pick up with verse 4.
Oh,
You still in verse 4.
Right.
okay. There's nothing other than 4 then.
They all leave with 4.
Con.
Okay.
You got
Okay, now,
Yeah,
Jeremiah 51 and 6 was the
You got
last
Daniel
one.
3:25?
That was linked up with 18 and 3, right? That was the last one you gave, right?
Say it again.
For verse 3, that was the last one you gave for verse 3.
3:25 and double 4. It's still 4.
What was the scripture you just said?
The first one after 4 is Jeremiah 10 and 2. You got that?
Jeremiah 10 and 2.
That was the first one that came after 18 and 4.
No, I didn't
Right.
get that.
18 and 3.
Hold on a minute, no, 18 and 4.
No, the first precept that we did when we read it 4 was Jeremiah 10 and 2 with Yahushua.
Right.
And then we went to 51 and 6. And then Yahushua read in Daniel's, the 3rd chapter, 25.
Oh, so Jeremiah 51 and 6 is part of.
Fourth verse, the 4th verse. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I put down 3 instead.
All right. So now we're in Mark.
Mark 13 and 21. Just to sync up when the Most High said, depart ye, therefore, just to know that it's spiritual. It's not you go to a place, you go hide just to get away from America.
Right.
If you can, it can help your spirit to stay same in the midst of all the locomotion that's going on. If you are able to, there's nothing wrong with that. But try to run away from America and go move to another country, thinking that, you know, that's what the scripture is saying. That's not what the scripture is saying. Like the one is bringing out, it's not, you know, to go in a place and move away from America.
Right. It was the situation right then.
Right. And Yahushua is saying here in verse 13, it says, and then if any man shall say to you, lo, here is Christ, or lo, he is there, believe him not. Because the part, wherever you are, you carry your mind with you. If you go to Florida, you go out of the country, wherever you are, it's still the same mind you carry throughout the place. If you have the same mindset, it doesn't matter where you run.
Right. No matter where you at.
Okay. All right, so everybody got that?
What was it again? This linked up to with
We're still in verse 4.
okay, Revelation 4. Oh, there's so many precepts in Revelation. Okay, and what was that one you just read?
What was Mark again?
13:21.
Mark,
Con?
Mark 13 and 21.
Mm-hmm.
13 and 21.
All right, so let's go back to Revelations 18. We're in the 5th verse now.
There we go. Sure.
So it says, for her sins, Babylon have reached unto heaven, right? And Yahweh hath remembered her iniquities. Meaning now the plagues are coming upon Babylon because they have reached to the Most High, gotten to a point where now it is finished. Now the vengeance, the judgments have to start happening. Make sure you separate yourself from it mentally, spiritually, so that you don't be a partaker of the plague. Because now the Lord is doing judgment. Verse 6, check this out. It says, reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. Right? So now the Lord is saying that now not only is her judgment come, but she's getting double all that they have done to us. Right? Go to Jeremiah. Huh? Say again? That's verse 6. We're reading verse 6. Where's your Bible?
Oh, I got it in here.
Oh, okay. That's where that's where you'll see that. You gotta get it out. Yeah, that's why you losing. You got, because it's not my commentary, it's what the verse is saying. So Revelations 18 and 6 is where we at. So now in Jeremiah 50 and verse 15. I'm gonna start at 14. Actually 13.
Back down 13.
Yeah,
Get it all.
13.
You got to be artful.
That's right.
We need a class, you know, the teachers.
Go to 15:1 and read into it.
And 5 into 3.
So we're in 13 now, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're at 13. So now, and Jeremiah 50 and 13, it says, because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh. Verse 15, shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. It is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance upon her, as she have done, do unto her. Right? So the same thing when we read that popular verse in Revelation 13 and 9. Who remembers what Revelation 13 and 9 says? 9 and 10. And then it goes into 10 and says, exactly. So what she's done to you, you got to now do it to her. But it's going to be even worse because it's going to be double. That's what the judgment of the Most High is. What she done to you, you do to her. Twice more. Somebody had their hand up. Pequod, then Gabar.
There's a link up. There's a link up.
Okay.
Read the 14, the 15.
I read the 15 in Jeremiah,
That's beautiful.
and then Revelation 13.
They think there's not gonna be no payback.
Oh yeah, there's others. It's going to be verses. We touched on a little bit before, but it's going to go back into that mind state of thinking. But Pequod, then Gabar.
Isaiah 40 and 2.
Isaiah 40 and 2.
Isaiah 40 and 2 reads, speak ye comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her, that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. For she have received of the Lord hands double for all her sins.
Con.
After verse Jeremiah 50, 13 and 15, do unto her, then you go straight to Isaiah 42, right?
40. No, we didn't go to Isaiah 42.
40 verse 2.
No, before then it was Revelations 13, 9 and 10 that I mentioned, and then we went to Isaiah 40. Revelations 13, 9 to 10.
What's this? Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
We didn't go there. Our reference. That's what.
What he
Yeah.
spoke out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 and 10. All right, I got you.
But so according to Isaiah 40 and 2,
Right.
we have gone through our fair share of paying double to the Most High. That's why our captivity seems very harsh, because we sin against the Most High. So we pay double. So imagine Esau his sin just went up and up. So he's gonna have to pay double. So imagine how much his double gonna be.
You'll have a hell of a double.
No, you won't be here no more. You can't get no more. So my question, it has something to do with what you just discussed, what Quad said, and what we've been discussing. Okay, this double, right? Now, I can't remember what scripture it was. It was Isaiah or Jeremiah, where the Lord is punishing Esau because it said at the time when our iniquity was up, he continued to persecute us. Now, if it's a short hint that could take me there and I can read it myself and find out when that time was, they were supposed to stop and leave us alone, then just give me the hint. Or otherwise, if it's difficult to find, you can just tell me what it is.
He kept on going.
Yeah, he was supposed to stop. It said the time the iniquity was up. And he was supposed to stop persecuting us, but he continued to do so. So what time was that?
Oh yeah, they went overboard with it.
More so, that's what it is. They went overboard with their punishment of us. It wasn't to say like, all right, Esau, when you're in a Roman captivity, all right, now Jacob's captivity is over, right? And that's it. You ain't gotta. But they kept us in there. Nah, it's more so to say that they went overboard with their position over us as oppressors. They went too far.
Oh, okay.
Right? That's like even with Israel and how we have service under us, the Most High gives you a bound, a limit.
Right.
They went above and beyond the bound. Right? Now, the interesting thing about Esau and what they're doing, remember, Most High created them, right? Yahweh Shalom created the spirits that's in them.
Right.
So those things that they're doing, it wasn't that, you know, some other outside power has now came in and took what the Most High created and added a little bit up more into it, and they went above. This was the judgment of how the Most High put things in the realm. Like he set them up to be dealt with this way. Like the way in which they think that the things that they do, the Most High set Esau up to be this way, right? That's why even in Jeremiah 15:11, with the righteous, right, he makes his enemies to be at peace with them. Now, for the righteous, the Most High will cause Esau to be all right with you. He ain't gonna, if you're righteous, if you wanted to favor the Most High, he'll cause him to be cool with you. He ain't going to deal with you like how he dealt with the other guy. You get pulled over, you get a traffic stop, right? And you like, all right, let me see your license registration. You like, oh, I'm going to get my license registration. That guy's all right, get your license registration. With somebody else, get your license registration. He going to go, oh, pow, pow, pow. You're like, yo, what the heck? You ain't have to go to that extent, right? He go way above what is called for what he's doing unto us, right? That's why we were talking about earlier, the cop who said that to the Edomite lady who was in the car. He was like, oh yeah, we just kill black people, right? We just kill black people, right? Because that's what they're doing to us, right? That's the spirit of they ain't doing it to East Indians, they ain't doing it to Arabs, they ain't doing it to Chinese, they ain't doing it, they're doing it to us. So that's why they go above and beyond what they would do. But it is the spirit that the Lord has set up between Jacob and Esau, a vessel fitted for destruction. Like when they get that vengeance that happens, when that comes upon them, it's not like, oh no, why did that happen to them? You see all the things that has been going on. This is what the Most High is allowing. Same thing with Pharaoh. Pumped his pride up that he would think that, hey, ain't nothing going to stop me, ain't nothing going to do anything to me, and he just kept getting building to bam. Took them all down.
Yeah, remember the brother in South Carolina at the gas station and the cop pulling the police for his ID? He's throwing shooting the brother, he's throwing dancing from the bullet. He's gonna be shot before.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not also just to pick on what Kahan Samak is bringing out. If we fall into the mind thinking that he went above and beyond, which means he went above what the Most High said for him to do. And that's not the case. That would show that the Most High is not in control.
Right.
Right. So let's say he is from here to here. He can go here and stop. But he's not going to stop. He can go here, but he cannot go past. He has a limit.
Right.
But within the limit, he can stop right here. But he doesn't stop right here. He keep going. He exceed the boundary. He exceed from the limit. He went to the limit that they give him. He used up all his limit.
Right.
Right. So that's how it meant. He went to the extreme, but not overboard or jump over what the Most High said for him to do.
Yeah, because that's my next question. It says at the time when the iniquity is up, you continue to do this. So it's like he went past with the Lord. I'm trying, because you said it was a limit, then he got that whole pen.
Right, he got the whole pen. That let's say the whole pen is the limit.
Right.
He can go right here when the iniquity, he stopped right here. But he used up the whole pen as opposed to, just stop at
Trying to find that verse.
But if that's the boundary,
hold on 1 second, Duffy. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Duffy. Brothers are still talking.
Okay, he gave him that entire pen, so he can go anywhere on that pen.
Anywhere on that pen, but not beyond that pen.
Right.
Right.
Because the Lord wouldn't let him go.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, but he's still saying that he went too far.
No. We have to understand the extreme. He went to extreme, but not went too far beyond that pen.
Right. He couldn't go. If the Lord is in control, then he can't possibly go further than what the Lord wanted him to go.
Right, because that's a choice. You have a choice. You have a choice in between that right here.
Right.
Your choice to stop right here is you. That's the choice you have.
But he has that choice to do that.
He has that choice to stop. Just like we have choice to choose life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we have that choice in between that limit that we have. But not beyond it. You cannot go beyond it. The Most High won't let you go beyond it unless it's already said that you're gonna go beyond it.
Which would have been just total destruction of Israel.
Right.
Which that never happened.
That would never happen.
Here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I'll think on that.
I'm gonna try to find that verse. Somebody else had their hand up?
We talking about like Romans 9:20?
No, I think
It's
it's
in Isaiah or Jeremiah.
yeah, it's in the Old Testament.
Looking for Romans 9:22?
No,
Vessel of wrath fitted to destruction.
no, I quoted that one, but that's not. Was looking for what verse he was quoting.
What did you quote?
Well, the part where God told him that you went too far. He told, Esau he went too far. I'll confirm that about this food here. I know it's Isaiah, Jeremiah. It says something like at the time when Israel's iniquity was up, that you continue, to go, through it. So like you said, he gave him a limit that he was supposed to stop at. But he still obviously he allowed him to go past it. But he could have stopped, he could have stopped our persecution anytime he wanted.
Con.
I was told Jabbar, like they shot that brother in Florida when he had that autistic kid. He was laying on his back and he asked the cop, "Why you shooting?" He said, "I don't know." I mean, come on, it's crazy.
He didn't even know why he shot him.
No, that's what he said.
No, that's deep. I just got this hatred for you. That's why I shot you. I don't know why, but I just hate you.
It sounds harsh, but that's the spirit of before we were brought forth in the womb, right? Struggling in the womb, right? No, this is a while ago. All right, so we're back in verse 6. So we had Jeremiah 50 and 15. Well, Jeremiah 50, 13 and 15, Revelations 13, 9 to 10, and then Isaiah 40 and 2. Let me get one. Hold on 1 second. All right. So you could just write down Jeremiah 51, 24.
Is that it?
No, it's not it. It goes into the same thing as what we read in Jeremiah 50 and 15 as far as for the judgment that's coming upon Babylon because of what was done to us. But Isaiah 40 and 2 is key as it pertains to the prophecy of the double and how we're supposed to give double unto her. 51, 24. So now back to Revelations 18 and verse 7. It says, how much she have glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen and am no widow and shall see no sorrow. Right? So as much as she's enjoyed herself living off of everyone else, it says so much torment and sorrow give her. Right? All of the things that have happened under her kingdom, she was sitting as a queen, sitting as someone where I shall never be taken from my perch. I shall never lose my empire. I shall never fall to anyone, right? That's why I said I sit as a queen and I'm no widow, right? and shall see no sorrows. You can link this with Ezekiel. Ezekiel, you got Pathat 28. Slack, not Ezekiel 28, Ezekiel 47. Yeah, Ezekiel 47. Ezekiel 47, verse 1. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. Give me 1 second. Isaiah 47, not Ezekiel, Salat. Isaiah 47. Yeah, change the word. Isaiah 47 and 1. I was looking at this like, what?
Delete for what?
Verse 7.
Come.
So I'm going to read. Right. So as I'm going to read down from verse 1 to verse 9. And what is described here in Isaiah 47, 1 to 9 is the same thing that's going to be described in Revelations 18. As we read further, the same bits and pieces that's in here is the same that's in Revelations, right? So this is Isaiah 47 and 1. It says, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt be no more called tender and delicate," right? So when it says sit on the ground, it's not talking about just sit on the ground. It's like you're way up or elevated. Now you need to come down to the ground. Like in Isaiah 14, when it says hell from beneath is moved at thy coming. Now you're being brought down to the ground. You're not on high anymore, right? It says, take the millstones and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the leg, uncover the thigh, pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yeah, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance and I will not meet thee as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms, right? So, we got this, symbol in Hudson Harbor, in the Hudson River, that's supposed to be the symbol of freedom, right? The symbol of America, sitting over there in the Hudson River, called the, exactly, right? Now here, this is another comparable to say she is being set up, because just like Israel is compared to being a woman, she is also being compared to being a woman. Talking about Edom, Babylon is looked at as a queen or someone who's ruling, right? Israel is supposed to be a woman married to who? Yahushua, who is the King of Kings. So again, the Lord throughout Scripture, not only is he just being direct, he's poetic. The way in which it's written is like, yeah, this delicate woman, Israel, is supposed to be married unto Yahushua, right? But Israel is a nation. It's a people that's supposed to come to righteousness. But here is this other person over here who thinks that she's the one. Edom thinks that she's the bride, the queen that's sitting on the throne, is saying, I'll never be brought down. I'll never come down to the ground. No one will ever remove me. Well, she's the lady of kingdoms, meaning she's over everybody, right? That's why it says, sit thou silent and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the lady of kingdoms. Why? I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. Thou didst show them no mercy. Like what we were just talking about, Gabar. When we was now punished by the Most High, we went into captivity under them. But we didn't get mercy like everybody else. That wasn't given to us. It says,
The water.
all right, I think we're back online.
The
So,
lady of kingdoms. Go ahead.
right. So a kingdom is an empire. If she's the lady and she's saying that she shall be a lady forever, what is that talking about? What is that alluding to? Top dog, or the ruling empire over all kingdoms forever, like Babylon is now. It is the one that's on top of all empires, right? Right now, it is the one that determines sanctions. It is the one that determines who can fly here and can't fly there, right? So now it's like, listen, the Most High just stepped in and said in verse 6, I was upset with my people, right? And what did the Most High do when he was upset with Israel? He put us into captivity under them.
Right.
That was a judgment from the past. When you don't want to deal with the Most High, we're supposed to be on high.
Right.
We're supposed to be the ones that's top. But because of the sin, he brought us down low. And he said, I gave them to you, but you didn't really show no mercy. So now, even when you have someone who is a servant or a slave under you, there's laws on how you deal with it according to the Most High. They said, man, forget those laws. We're going to do our own thing, right? So they didn't show any mercy unto us. So now, because they didn't show any mercy unto us, the Most High is like, all right, now I'm going to come back and get on you. I'm going to reward you double for what you put out. You need to come down now. But the pride that's in you, you are saying, I'm going to be a lady forever. I'll never come down to the ground. Who's going to stop me? What's going to stop me? Right? That's the thinking. That's why when you read it in Romans 9, it's comparable to what Pharaoh felt. Pharaoh felt the same pride. He felt pumped up to thinking, man, what? Who's going to stop me? Even after seeing the plagues that the Most High put upon him, the Most High still had his pride pumped up. Why? Why did the Most High use that Pharaoh and pump him up like that? Every time, boom. He was like, all right, I give it up. Moses, go talk to your God. All right, cool, I give it up. But came right back. Put that stony heart in, and what happened? He's like, nah, I ain't giving him up, right? The Most High wanted his name to be known in the earth, right? He wanted his people to be known and recognized in the earth. So after that happened, remember in Joshua, when Israel came into the land, Rahab the harlot said, hey, we heard about what your God did for you. We all heard. And she was like, we're afraid. for your God and of you. And the spy said, all right, cool. You just get us in and out. And when we come back, we'll pardon you. We won't do nothing. Get your family, put this thing on the outside, and we'll take you and we won't kill you like we're going to do the rest of them. But she heard of what the Most High did. They heard, some of them heard of that. And it said all of our hearts melt. We melted because of that. Because no one has ever seen or had to deal with that. So now in the end, the Most High said in these last days, he gave us to them because of our sin again. But they went overboard. No mercy. So now they got to get that judgment of that fate. Somebody else with their hand up? So I'm going to read verse 7 again. And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. Therefore, hear now this, thou art given to pleasures and dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. And I shall sit not as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries, and for the great abundance of thine enchantments, right? So now when you're dealing with why Esau is going through, it's just not also that they didn't have mercy upon us, but like we read earlier, the wine that everybody was drinking, those philosophies, that's like witchcraft. That's what they were doing, witchcraft. The stuff that you see on TV, the thing that you hear on music, it's like witchcraft and sorcery because it controls the mind. It causes you to think a certain way. That's like when you watch these TV shows, right? And they put a spell on you. What happens when somebody puts a spell on an individual in these movies or these TV shows? They control them to think and do what they want. So that's what now the Most High is getting on Babylon. The witchcraft and sorceries and enchantments have been placed upon the people through philosophies, through doctrine, through policy, through education, through history, through music, through art. They think have you looking up at that fake Caesar Borgia. When people get up in the morning, look at that. Their mind is under a spell. Yeah, that's a spell. And now it's like, we got to wake you up. Get out of here. Look, snap out of it. Right? Look at what the Most High and Yahweh Shai is saying here, and then you come back to yourself. Right? For quiet.
It's the pride. Imagine when you look at America, look all the stuff they have if you turn around and look at all the stuff they have. The big buildings that they have, how they have high rises and all beautiful thing they have. Would you give that up? Right? It's gonna be very difficult to give all that up.
Right.
Look at all the
Shema.
All the technologies, you have all the stores and things that they have at their disposal, and they have power. They can make countries do everything that they want them to do. They're not gonna give it up. So it's the pride. So that's why the Most High warned us in Deuteronomy, the 8th chapter, right? The 10th, Deuteronomy 8, 10 to 17. When things are going good, be careful, because that's when the pride comes in.
Right,
like you don't have time to listen. Deuteronomy 8, 10 to 17. The Most High warned us about being prideful when things are working good. So when America came back and started doing all these things, start conquering and came back as the woman empire, now they feel like there's nothing can bring her down. So that's why she said that she'll never go down.
That's a good one to read.
Mm-hmm. Now go to Ezekiel 28. Yeah, this is all still dealing with verse 7.
So you read Isaiah 47, 1 to 8, right?
1 to 9.
Ezekiel 20.
Ezekiel 28.
28. All right, one more time. Ezekiel 28.
Ezekiel 28 and 1.
Right. which is what we were going to do before Isaiah, right?
Right. So in Ezekiel 28:1, it says, the word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, right? So when you read throughout the Old Testament, when it's talking about Tyrus in prophecy, it's speaking about Edom, right? Same way it calls him Chaldee, same way it calls him Babylon. When it references him as Tyrus or the prince of Tyrus, is again talking about Edom. How do we know? Through precept upon precept. Because as we're going to read, it's going to describe the same things that the Lord has talked about Edom for doing. So it says in verse 2, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God, in the midst of the seas. Yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. Right. So this is speaking about Edom, right? And calling him, giving him a title as Tyrus, who wants to be God, sit in the seat of God, has the image of the Most High, do the things that the Most High can do as far as for creating seed and creating vegetables and creating man, right? But the Lord says, you ain't a God, you're just a man, right? And you want to be this way? Then he says that you're wiser than Daniel. How is he wiser than Daniel? And Daniel was a wise individual. So now how is Esau, Edom, classified as being wiser than Daniel? Because it says there is no secret that they can hide from thee. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. What is it dealing with?
AI.
Right.
Artificial intelligence.
So all that technology, right? It's technology in your phone, right? Your cell phone. You got a phone?
Yeah.
They hearing everything you're doing.
Yeah, true.
You got a camera on your phone?
Yeah,
They can watch what if they want to watch it, right? You got a computer, they can see everything that's going on here, right?
As a matter of fact, everything you do, Google.
Yeah, you go on. Yep, you go on. That's how they when you go on your phone and you get all the advertisements, because they track your searches, right? Not only they track your searches, they listen to what you're saying. We talking about pizza, then all of a sudden you go on your phone, you're gonna start saying Pizza Hut advertisements on your phone, right? That's why I says there's no secret thing that they can hide from them. You're gonna have to start trying to be like how the mafia used to be back in the day when they wanted to, because they knew the FBI was tapping their phones. They go out in the pool and stand in the middle of water because the technology probably couldn't sustain the water, so they stand in the water having conversations because they're afraid of the FBI listening to them, with the mics or with the things. But now that technology is advanced more than that, right? And know where you're going and know what you're thinking because you're talking about it, right? You're talking to converse like we're doing right now. Ain't no everything. We got a teleconference line. We got a live stream. We got our cell phones here. We got watches that's digital Fitbits and all that. They got all that.
Yeah, they showed that in the movie Eraser.
Yeah, Google got that caller. As soon as you start typing a search, it's already registered to your computer. So next time you start typing, it's already show up there.
Yep.
They already know your computer is already jacked up.
Yep. So this is what it's talking about. And this is dealing with Esau, right? So verse 4 goes back into what we already read in Revelation. With thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches and has gotten gold and silver into thy treasures. That's what he's talking about. They live deliciously, right? By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic dealing with what? Buying and selling, right? It says, has thou increased thy riches and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. So like you brothers bringing out that pride. I'm not giving all this up. Ain't nobody gonna take me down.
It's like we're going to the next thing. Now, right now, it's artificial intelligence, robots, and everything. We got to keep moving forward. We can't look back.
Yep. Verse 6 says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of God. Behold, therefore, I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. And they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile thy brightness. So the Lord is going to have the other nations start to come amongst them, right? That's where it says terror shall take you on every side. So now when you hear, oh, this happened in Barcelona, this happened over here in UK, this happened over here and here, this happened. So what happens now? The strangers have started to infiltrate in different areas. You don't even know who's who no more, right? Before you can identify who somebody was, like, oh yeah, he looks like the enemy. He's telling us that he's the enemy. Now they don't know who they are. And yeah, exactly. Right? They blend in. So what happens? The Lord says, I'm going to send the strangers, the terrible of the nations against you. And then it's going to be actual military that the Lord is going to send against them. It says in verse 8, they shall bring thee down to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the sea. So that's their recompense. You reap what you sow. What was done by her to them now is going to be done unto her. And that's it. We can stop there because it'll go all the way down.
1 to 8.
1 to 8.
They'll come to what you had said earlier, even with the music, the R&B. Now they come pushing that woman, Adele and Justin Bieber and Justin Timberland. Now they talking about they the king of R&B. Give me a damn break.
He said the king of R&B. Let me see if there's one more here.
Yeah, it comes because they had a thing about them. They said they destroying our culture, our music. So they pushing all these Edomites in the forefront of the R&B, like Adele and Justin Bieber, and that people helping them because Justin Bieber out there was what's the one they caught the clamps? The one they say he going around having sex with
Usher.
Yeah, say to Usher. Now a lot of singers having sex with them people. What is that? Looking like Bruce Jenner.
Yeah.
And they don't know they men they getting the sack with them.
But that's Esau's been doing that.
The last guy they busted was a R&B singer. He's young. He's born 1980. I can't think of his name. They busted him a few times with a what's his name? I can't think of his name right off right now. But he was an R&B singer in like the early 2000s. He got busted a couple of times.
Con.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's continue on. Let's go back. Revelations 18 and 8. It says,
what was that? He said, Pequod, 8, 10. Was that Deuteronomy 8 and 10 to 17? That Pequod had said a while back.
Yeah. Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 10 to 17.
Yeah, 10 to 17. So now back in Revelations 18 and 8, it says, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine. Like we just read when we read about Isaiah, when it says those two things is going to come at you in one day. Widowhood and I forget what the other one was. Let me get it real quick.
The fun will be pressed. It probably won't even dim.
Yeah, widowhood and loss of children. All right, so they're going to fall from the empire, and then their remnant is going to be taken out. Something like what it mentions in Obadiah, as far as for them going to be being eradicated over a period. Yeah, they're not going to remain after a certain point.
I love that.
So it says again, therefore shall her plagues come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For strong is Yahweh power who judgeth her. Right? So it says the same in back in Revelations. No, I won't link that one with it. Verse 9, it says, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come. Right? So when the ultimate destruction happens, they're going to be afar off observing the downfall, right? And understanding that they were at one time in partnership with him, but they still knew and understood what was going on. And now they're going to say, oh my gosh, unbelievable. Finally happened. Finally came down. We thought it was going to come before, but it didn't. But now look, and they're going to see the smoke is going up, right? Then it says they're going to lament, right? So when we read verse 11, then I'm going to go back. And the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise any more, right? So now let's go to Ezekiel, back to Ezekiel.
Brother Bakwa, who sang that slow song called Slow Down? It was like a love song, Slow Down.
Yeah.
Not the rap version, it was like the R&B version.
Calm down, be humble.
No,
he's talking about not, it's Samak, it's not a Pequod, but slow down.
It's like an R&B hit. Thinking like the mid 2000, like 2006, 2005.
But what he talking about? What you talking about before then?
I'm talking about the rap version, but he talking about it was one. It must have been a remix.
Yeah, there's another one with an R&B thing. It's called Slow Down. I know you talking about the rap version. I know about that, but not this one. He made a R&B song called Slow Down.
What is the
Sing
what's
it.
the relevance to the song?
Oh no, he was the one. I couldn't think of the brother that sang. But he's born in 1980, so he's a young cat. Well, he's 37. He's not young now.
Oh, you talking about Bobby Valentino, the guy with the transgender?
That's the one. Con. That's the one that got busted with the trans.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah.
Bobby V. Con.
Con.
Yeah, that's him. Bobby V.
No.
The first time we give you a pass. The second time we don't accident.
Con. So now we're going to jump to Ezekiel 26, and I'm going to start at verse 15.
26. What was the first one? The chapter of Ezekiel? What chapter is it?
The one we just read? 28, 1-9?
Ezekiel 28, 1-9?
Con.
All that was linked to
That's 1 and 9,
18:7,
right? Not 1 through 9.
That's 1 through 9.
That was all that linked with
He
7, right?
said 1 and 9. So
For Ezekiel 28, all of that linked with verse 7, Con. Ezekiel 28, 1-9 was with verse 7. And now we're going to Ezekiel 26, verse 15. This all links with verses 9 to 11. So Ezekiel 26 and 15.
Ezekiel 26.
So Ezekiel 26, 15, it said, Thus saith the Lord, power to Tyrus. Remember, Tyrus is just another title for Edom. Shall not the isles shake at the sound of thy fall? When the wounded cry, when the slaughter is made in the midst of thee, right? So now aren't the other places going to make a cry when you fall, right? Make a sound. Verse 16, it says, Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones and lay away their robes and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground and shall tremble at every moment and be astonished at thee, right? Remember, there are kings that are also set up that are not actually kings, because they are living deliciously because of what Edom has allowed them to do, because they've accepted their policies, they accepted their philosophies. So now when the Most High brings judgment against Babylon, it says here, all them princes from the seas, they're going to all come down. They're going to take off their robes, because they know they're not going to be ruling like, they're not going to be doing the same things like before now. They're going to be looking at her or him, Tyrus or Edom, and be saying, wow, check that out. They're now going to get afraid because they don't want that same judgment to come upon them. So we read again. Then all the princes of the sea shall come down from their thrones and lay away their robes and put off their broidered garments. They shall clothe themselves with trembling. They shall sit upon the ground and shall tremble at every moment and be astonished at thee. And they shall take up lamentation for thee and say to thee, how art thou destroyed? Thou wast inhabitant of seafaring men, the renowned city, which was strong in the sea, she and her inhabitants, which caused their terror to be on all that haunt it. Right? So this is the power that she had. How is it that it's fallen? It says, now shall the isles tremble in the day of thy fall. Yeah, the isles that are in the sea shall be troubled at thy departure. For thus saith the Lord power, when I shall make thee a desolate city, like the cities that are not inhabited, when I shall bring up the deep upon thee, and great waters shall cover thee, when I shall bring thee down with them that descend into the pit, with the people of old time, and shall see in the low parts of the earth, in places desolate of old, with them that go down to the pit, that thou be not inhabited, which I shall set, and I shall set glory in the land of the living. So now this is going back to all the things that they have done throughout the different generations and empires. Right? That now everything that they've done to the other people, they all going to bear witness and see, listen, you come down like we were. You come down here, like it tells you in Isaiah the 14th chapter, when it talks about Lucifer. Oh, how art thou fallen, Lucifer, right? That's them talking about Edom. Now their fate has come down, and they're going to bear witness to it. Verse 21, I will make thee a terror, and thou shalt be no more, like we talk about in Obadiah. It says, though thou be sought for, yet thou shalt never be found again, saith the Lord power. Right? So this is what the Lord is comparing to what we're reading here in Revelations. Right? All the nations, all those other, that's what it says, seafaring men, because it's talking about merchants. Right? The merchants on the seas, they go through and make trade. Right? So these other nations are the same thing. They send ships to and fro, bringing merchandise here, taking it over there. But now they're all going to stop what they're doing, take off their crowns, take off their robes, come from out of their castles, their congresses, whatever it is, and bear witness to what has now just transpired. And they're going to be afraid. And it says at every moment. Why? Because Yahushua is going to be there. The angels is going to be there. And they're going to know what happened to them. And they're going to be sitting there like, oh my gosh, what is going to happen? What are we going to do? Is it going to come to us? Alas, they have fallen. Who's next? Gotta be them. Gotta be them. So they're going to be afraid in that day. Somebody had a hand up? Be quiet.
Isaiah 47:15. You read all the way to...
I read all the way to 21. So that was Ezekiel 26, verses 15 to 21.
And now it's Isaiah 47:15.
Oh, 47.
47.
We'll make up 11, right?
Fine. Isaiah 47:15 reads, thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored.
Oh, Isaiah.
Isaiah 47:15. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall render every one in his quarters, none shall save thee. So none of them will be able to do nothing for a man.
Mm-hmm. Now, go back to Ezekiel. So when you just write down Ezekiel, the 27th chapter, the whole chapter.
Okay.
The whole chapter what?
The whole chapter.
The whole chapter, because as I'm going to read verses 1 to 3, and then I'm going to jump.
Okay, now what is this? What's
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel chapter 27. This is still dealing with verses 9 to 11.
Right.
Ezekiel chapter 27.
You said the whole chapter.
I said the whole chapter, but I'm going to read because the whole chapter is dealing with what we're talking about, right? But I'm going to see why I just said the whole chapter. So in Ezekiel 27:1, it says, "The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Now, thou son of man, take up lamentation for Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, O thou that art situate at the entrance of the sea, which art a merchant of the people for many isles. Thus saith the Lord power, O Tyrus, thou hast said, I am of perfect beauty." Right? Remember, she's a lady, a queen, and never going to, now he's describing Tyrus again. It says, but it says that she is the situate of the entry of the sea, right? Meaning anybody wants to do any trading of sorts, you have to go through her, right? You have to go through Tyrus. You have to go through Babylon, right? So now he's calling Tyrus out for what it is, but then he says, but you're the one who says that you are perfect beauty. Now, as you read down throughout this chapter from verse 4 on down, you'll see that it's talking about all these different other places of people that were merchants or had something to do, whether good or bad, with Tyrus, right? Talks about Egypt being in linen and this, that, and the third, and Bashan with thine ore. All these things is describing all that has been controlled or done by Tyrus. Now, jump to all the way down to '27. Jumped all the way down to 27, right? Now, keep in mind, this, like I said, is a parallel to the same things that we're reading in Revelations. Because like when you read these chapters and you read about what they were exchanging, it's different things. From clothes, from gold, from silver, from stones, from animals. All these things are being exchanged when you read throughout the chapter. But now it says, verse 27, thy riches and thy fares, thy merchandise, thy mariners, and thy pilots, thy caulkers, and the occupiers of thy merchandise, and all thy men of war that are in thee, and in all thy company which is in the midst of thee, shall fall into the midst of the seas in the day of thy ruin. The suburbs shall shake at the sound of the cry of thy pilots, and all that handle the oar, the mariners, and all the pilots of the sea shall come down from their ships. They shall stand upon land, and they shall cause their voice to be heard against thee, and shall cry bitterly, and shall cast up dust upon their heads, and they shall wallow themselves in ashes, and they shall make themselves utterly bald for thee, and gird them with sackcloth, and they shall weep for thee with bitterness of heart and bitter wailing. And in their wailing they shall take up a lamentation for thee, and lament over thee, saying, what city is like Tyrus, like the destroyed in the midst of the sea? When the wares went forth out of the seas, thou fillest many people. Thou did enrich the kings of the earth with the multitude of thy riches and of thy merchandise. Same thing we read before, right? The kings were made rich with her delicacies. And that's what they're describing here. The kings were made rich with the things that they provided them. Verse 34, in the time when thou shalt be broken by the seas in the depths of the waters, thy merchandise and all thy company in the midst of thee shall fall. All the inhabitants of the isles shall be astonished at thee, and their king shall be so afraid they shall be troubled in their countenance. For when they see Yahushua and the angels come and they see that destruction, they're going to lose all hope. They're going to lose all spirit because of what is going to transpire. The merchants among the people shall hiss at thee. Thou shalt be a terror and never shall be any more. Meaning that's going to, when it says thou shalt be a terror, you know how somebody is called out on something or is tagged or marked for a certain fate. Nobody wants to stand with them, because if you stand with them, you're going to be with them and you're going to get that same fate. So when somebody sees what's going to happen to Tyrus of Babylon, that says, listen, he's going to be like a terror. I don't want to be over there. I don't want to go with him, right? You'll be afraid to even align yourself or mention his name and said you was cool with him. Remember when Yahushua was taken and Peter was there, and they said, hey, wasn't you with him? And Peter was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Peter got afraid to even be associated with Yahushua, right? And Yahushua prophesied about what's going to happen to Peter, right? So I'm using that to give you the perspective of when someone is about to be punished or persecuted. So most people don't want, I don't want to be with him. Nah. So what's going to happen to Babylon? What's going to happen to Tyrus? What's going to happen to Edom? That's the same thing. I'm afraid to be over there with them. I'm like, man, that's jacked up. Oh man, look at him. It's burning. It's going on. But you don't want to be on his side, right? That's what all the rest of the isles and the merchants and the people to see is like, nah, I don't want to be associated with that. So I read, that's the whole chapter, but I just read throughout just to give context to what we're still reading here in Khan. One more. Jeremiah.
Mark, they're gonna tell him, no, you on your own, buddy. I'm out of here.
Yeah, I'm on you.
Jeremiah chapter 50. (45 to 46). Go on.
Jeremiah what?
Jeremiah the 50th chapter, verses 45 and 46. Huh?
What's the link up with?
50, 45, 48, 9, and 10.
8, 9, and 10. I mean, Revelation 18, 8, 9, and 10.
Right.
It's always to 11.
9, 10, 11.
That's to 11.
A Revelation? Yeah, 9, 10.
Yeah, with that, to 11.
This is Revelation 18,
Yeah.
and this is linked up with 9, 10, and 11.
Yeah. You got it.
So Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 45, it says, therefore hear ye the counsel of the Lord, that he has taken against Babylon and his purposes, that he hath purpose against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. At the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations. So it says when that fall happens, the earth is going to be at a standstill. The earth is going to be rocked, shaken. Like, what just happened? Right? Because like we read, it's going to happen in an hour.
Wait.
Right? We're going to go through, it's going to be a lot of different things going to happen, but that fall is going to be within an hour. And when it falls, then it's going to be like, what happened? What's next?
Oh, we're going to be fine.
Right, we're going to be fine, but everyone else is wondering. They're going to now have to hear what the Most High in Christ and the new regime is going to set up, because then it's that quick. It's not like something they prepared for it. It's not something they have anticipated that they were going to have this fall. It's going to be now the whole earth is moved. You know how sometimes when you see certain people like Michael Jackson died, and everybody was like, oh man, everybody stopped and was mourning for Michael Jackson. They had everybody all over the place was mourning and everything. This is a lower, this is comparable. This is on a low level to this that we're reading here, right? Princess Diana, they had the thing and she died and everybody all over the place was. When this happens, this is going to be on another level. When they talk about the earth is moved, when the taking of Babylon, everybody's gone. I don't care, from the deeps of the islands, some people who have TVs remote, everybody's going to know what just transpired. Because remember, even with the actual physical destruction, it says the earth shall go to and fro, right? The earth shall sway to and fro. The earth itself, why? Why would the earth move back and forth itself? Exactly, because of the missiles that's going to hit the earth, the bombs that's going to be dropping, right? All hitting different places, it's going to shake the earth. Literally shake the earth. So you're going to be, it's like when they talk about earthquakes and they on one side and they was like, yo, the tsunami that happened. They said it caused time to stop for a moment, right? And that was an earthquake that happened over there. When this happens, the whole earth is going to rock. And you're going to be like, they're going to be on the other side of the world in Australia. Like, oh, what the heck? Yeah, they're going to know that something is going on. Right? And then it's going to be done. And then now it's the things that we read about after that destruction. How the Most High is then going to take Israel and bring them back to their country. And then you have to do the rebuilding. The former kings of the earth now are going to have to come in and bring their glory, as we read in Revelation, and start to pay homage to the Most High Yahushua and to the people. Right? All of this is now what follows next. But at that moment, they're going to be in disarray. All right, so now that was Jeremiah 50, 45 to 46. Now let's go back to Revelations 18 and 12. So now Revelations 18 and 12 is what, when I said, hey, read that on your own in Ezekiel 37, it's going to talk about the same thing, right? So it says, I'm going to read 11 again before I read 12. It says, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So in that Ezekiel 27, this is what was going on with the merchants of different places. It says the merchandise of gold and silver and precious stones and of pearls and of fine linen and purple and silk and scarlet and all fine wood and all manner vessels of ivory, and all manner vessels of precious wood, and of brass, and of iron, and marble, and cinnamon, and odors, and ointments, and frankincense, and wine, and oil, and fine flour, and wheat, and beasts, and sheep, and horses, and chariots, and slaves, and souls of men. Right? So this is not everything. This is just giving you an idea of the traffic that goes on with the Babylon and the other nations.
I mean, the majority of the trades are done overseas right now. That's why you got docks on here, those docks and all those ships.
Big ship.
Imagine everything that, especially here in America, are imported.
Yeah.
Right? They are imported. They don't manufacture them here.
Right.
They import it from other countries and bring them over here.
Right.
And the consumers over here consume all the stuff.
Yeah.
But where are we exporting the country, United States? We don't have that much of an export.
Yeah, you got export.
You have export. I mean, cars and different things they do export.
Yeah.
But that ain't also.
Yeah.
That's America.
But
America did a lot of their electronics here.
right, but see, the most intriguing thing about what we just read in the 12th and 13th verse were the last two things that's on that list: slaves and souls of men. The last one is the most interesting, right? Because it says this is the merchandise that's being traded, right? You can take a physical slave and trade. That's how they have these people who get abducted and shipped somewhere, and they become slaves or servants or prostitutes or whatever for certain people. But it says the souls of, how do you trade the soul of a man? Right? That's what it said. That's why Esau, when it talks about witchcraft and sorceries and enchantments and things, that's how they do it. right? Because they sell your soul based on what you receive to control you. When you exchange these things, it's to be what? In your possession.
Right.
When I give you cinnamon, it's for you to hold or have for yourself to use it. For now, when you start doing that with people, it's like, okay, now I'm going to give you this information to control you. So now I'm going to come over to your place and teach you this. I'm going to give you this TV show. I'm going to give you this music, or I'm going to give you that, so that it can control people's soul or spirit, to control your thinking. Most people don't think about what it is that they're receiving in their minds or what they're in their brains or what they're following. But it's designed to control you, right? These people, if you ever paid attention to marketing, you can go on YouTube or whatever, and they did this, like, showed this years ago, 20, 30 years ago. The studies, the people who pay attention to how things are marketed to people, right? The simplest thing, years ago, we found out about how they got us to buy popcorn in the movie theater, right? You walk in there and they start, boom, flashing those things on the screen right before the movie starts. And what happens?
I gotta go back.
Let me go run over and get some popcorn, right? They planted that seed in your mind to get you to think to go and get the popcorn.
Right.
But if it never came up, you probably would have never concerned yourself with going to get the popcorn. The way it's set up when you walk into a movie, the thing is there before you get to the theater. So why do they got to put the popcorn up on the screen for those who ain't get the popcorn when it first came in? Who's like, oh, I ain't paying that $10 for the popcorn. So it's $10 too much. But you get in there and they flash on the screen and you see other people got the popcorn. You're like, hold up, what you need? What you want me to get some? I'll be right back. You run out there to get the popcorn. Right. So that's just information that's received in your brain to get you to think or look or taste or want to do something. That's how they start to trade, because they now want you to think, believe this. So you get a TV show that has two daddies raising a kid, right? And you're watching it and you're like, the heck is this? I grew up with mother and father, the traditional marriage. Now they got two boys or two women raising the children. And now through the way in which it's written, it now gets you to fall in love with the storyline. I like that, right? That was a good storyline. So now in the midst of you falling in love with this over here, you've also accepted that over there. You don't separate the two, or it's hard to separate the two. So now you've fallen into that realm of like, okay, I didn't like it before. Now it's cool. Now it's like, and then they come with another one, and then another one, and another one. And then after that, boom, they got you. You're sold. You're sold. That's why I say in the entertainment business, when people come in, they say, oh man, you got to sell out. You done sold your soul. Right? They say, oh, you sold your soul to the devil. People's like, oh no, here's, they got to go and drink blood and do all this crazy over the top things in order to do that. Nah, that's not the case with selling yourself, right? You sell your morals and your principles, the things that you kind of was rooted and founded on. You give those things up because they have either seduced you or deceived you, or because they want to give you something that you can think that you can benefit from. So if it got to be that, then I'll go ahead and do it, right? So this is what now has been sold. All the other things seem tangible. You can understand how they're selling wood and odors and gold and silver, and we get that. But when it talks about slaves and souls of men, that's when you now look and reflect on yourself. Have I been sold? Did I sell out? Am I bought? Have I given in? That's when you start to now have to think and look in the mirror as to what Tyrus and Edom and their philosophies and policies have dictated that don't align with the Most High, that don't align with God. And if that's the case, then you, my friend, have been sold. You've been on the market. And it don't have to be like we was in slavery. We was just actually physically sold. Now they've transformed the game. They're wiser than Daniel. I figured out ways that I can control them and get them to do what I want to do without having to do physical things. Yeah, I made it mental, right? You read a book, you play a video game. The video games now have certain contexts with the cartoons have certain context to it that can control and manipulate your mind and your brain. So again, this is what now the downfall of judgment of the fate of Edom, Esau, Babylon, Tyrus, the beast, all of that, those different names that have been associated with Esau, this is why, right? And the other nations have fallen who have drunk that Kool-Aid, drank that wine, right? Verse 14, it says, and the fruits that thy soul lusted after are departed from thee, and all the things which were dainty and goodly are departed from thee, and thou shalt find them no more at all. All those things that you like to do or like to receive to do, which was wicked, you ain't gonna find it no more. You ain't gonna see it no more. Certain shops, certain shows, certain things, nah, it's not gonna be there no more. Certain clothes, nah, it's done. You're not gonna find it in the midst no more because that's gonna be taken out.
You say poison in your mind?
Mhm.
It may not match up like y'all think it do to me. I stopped looking at Soul Train. I started seeing white people, Chinese people on Soul Train. I don't even look at Soul Train no more. I'm sorry, no old Soul Train coming on cable something. I watched that Afro and all that.
Yeah.
I watched that also. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
When you was out there kicking it.
I got a new Soul Train out there.
Yeah, well, it's Soul Train, but they got white people on Soul Train now. I ain't looking at that.
The new one that came.
No, it's the same Soul Train. They got
I wouldn't even go so I wouldn't say I wouldn't, but if you take it to a further extent, because you have to look at the objective for all of it. So like when Brother Duffy mentioned earlier how they talking about, you know, at one point they were saying Timberlake was the king of R&B or whatever. It didn't start with just Justin Timberlake, because you go back to the 60s and they was doing the same thing with your Elvis Presleys and all them others, where they was, you know, we was inventing or pushing the envelope with the different types of music, but we would not be, the image of us wasn't there, right? Like you see now when they start doing these biopics or biopics of some of the entertainers from the past, when they first came out, their faces wasn't on the record covers, right? Or they would have some abstract thing, or they put someone else, or they would have someone else, Esau, sing the same songs, and then they would get credit for it.
And they get credit for it.
They would get the credit for the song that once it was done within our community, it didn't get wildly publicized until somebody else came and remade it, sang the same song with their own thing, and then that made the hit. And you see the artist is like, what the heck? They just stole our,
all the time.
yeah, they stole our stuff, right? So then as over time, you start thinking like, yeah, they did rock and roll. They did this. They invented hockey. They did. No, we did it. Like I said before I left a few weeks ago, there was a brother who did Jack Daniels. And I'm thinking when I was growing up, I'm like, man, I don't mess with no Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels, that's their stuff. That was us. I'm like, wait, the brother did Jack Daniels? He the one did whiskey? Dang it, right? So when they start doing stuff like that, it's an objective to get it to kind of become diluted. Once you dilute it, it takes away its strength, right? That's when you dilute anything, it's too strong for you. It's like drinking some kind of tea that's real bitter. So I gotta go dilute it with something. Or I'm gonna drink some vodka. I gotta go chase it with something because it's too strong, right? I'm gonna put some soda water in or whatever. So they began to dilute our spirit, our voice. So now when you watch the award shows, the BET Awards, you see such and such winning an award.
Been the hockey in Nova Scotia.
Exactly.
That's been the hockey.
Yep.
And then Pat Boone did a lot of cover of black music. Pat Boone covered Fat Domino and the Russell Brothers.
Stealing people's music, putting his face on the album.
And Pat Boone came out and said it. He said, I sung a lot of black songs, but they couldn't put black faces. They either put cartoon characters or somebody like white on it to sell their albums.
Con.
Hey, okay. Let's go the politician way. Ronald Reagan, he tried to pass a law, and he tried to pass this law for Social Security. You had to live to be 85 years old. And my grandmother died, she was 84. And I mentioned it to my mom. I said, Mom, remember Ronald Reagan trying to move Social Security up to 85? She's like, I know what you about to say. Grandma would have never got when we get 62. She'd have never got that, or they'd have kept all that money.
She died by then.
Yeah, well, she died when she was 84.
We're going by 60 down to that, but that was back then.
Yeah.
About what?
This show I watched.
Today is 65.
When they give,
Hold on. I don't can't two people.
this show I watched, when they captured the drugs and the money, he said, well, what you do with all the drugs? He said, well, we burn that. He said, okay. Well, what you do? Look, they was in a cargo warehouse place.
Okay.
They didn't let you know where they was at. They probably asked owner somewhere. He said, what you do with all this money? He said, right out of his mouth, look at me, man, we keep it. I said, wow, we keep it. Who was this? It was on a cable. I was watching it. Who keeps the money? Esau. He was in a warehouse, and they had cargoes and cargoes of cocaine, marijuana. That was it. They bring it from over to Cuba, wherever. And he said, okay, what you do with this? He said, we have a factory, we burn all this up. Okay, good. He said, well, what you do with all that money? It's a cargo about the size of a football field. We keep that.
You should keep that.
We keep that.
That's not nothing new. They've been doing
I
the
said,
same
they've been
thing
doing
for a
that
while.
the longest. I'll probably be a rotten cop, y'all. Oh, I'm sorry. But I'll probably gotta straighten me out, though. But anyway, back to you, Shema.
Con.
We'll keep it.
So let's go back.
We'll keep it. Here you go.
So it says in verse, where we at?
No, we passed 14.
We passed 14.
No,
I think
we
we
is,
have I read 14. We have 15. So it says in Revelations 18:15, the merchants of these things which were made rich by her shall stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing. Again, like we said, they're going to be made a terror. They're going to be looking and saying, well, I don't want to be standing with her. Verse 16, and saying, alas, alas, that great city that was clothed in fine linen and purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls. For in 1 hour so great riches is come to naught. And every shipmaster and all the company in ships and sailors and as many as trade by sea stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying, what city is like unto this great city? So what have we known in our time that's comparable to Babylon?
Yeah, that's when we make that cash.
Yeah. Who's given this opportunity like this? Even though we had to follow their ways, follow their wine, but we've had so many opportunities because of it, right? So now they're seeing it fall and then they're seeing it burn. It says in verse 19, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour is she made desolate. So it controls the market, right? Everyone was made rich or poor because of her. That's why I said, until you receive the mark, you can't buy or sell. You don't receive the mark, then you get sanctions, embargoes, tariffs put upon you, right? And that's what caused you to now either be up here or down here. First world, second, quote unquote, second world country, as opposed to a third world country, right? You got to accept those products. When if you pay attention to the news, they go around in different countries trying to push policies that says you got to accept homosexuals. Don't kill them. Why are you making these laws? You got to change your laws. You got to change your rules, right? And then once you start adapting, accepting it, then it's like, okay, yeah, so now we can work together. What do you need? You need some resources. You know, I see you guys have this over here. I can get this from you, but you can go and trade. But once you say, no, we ain't doing that, then it's like, okay, fine. We can't do any business, right? We can't do any business because I don't follow your philosophy, your doctrine, or the way of thinking is not conducive to ours. So we cut off. And you cut off from all my friends. Yeah, exactly. Because it's not like that's like, you know, on a street level. If I got beef with him and you my friend, then you got beef with him. That's how the mindset is. But Esau takes it to the same level on the global scale and like, listen, we all allies. Like we read in the Apocrypha and Maccabees with Rome. Rome said, listen, if you are cool with me, I will fight and defend you. And not only fight and defend you, but I will give you whatever resources and things that you need. Nobody, if anybody come against you, then we gonna go fight against them. If somebody come and fight against me, you gonna come help me. Okay. That's the agreement. So it's the same thing. You're not going to go and trade with him who's now flipped the bird at us.
Right.
You're going to now stand off from him too.
Right. So when you look at it, that's why the merchants, they love the United States, because the U.S. consume 30% of the world resources.
Okay.
Yet they make up the world 5% of the world population, but they consume 30% of the world resources.
Okay.
And they have 30% of waste, meaning all the stuff they come and dump over here, people don't really use them. A lot of them will go to waste, but they love to come and dump it over here.
Oh, okay.
It's a big market of consumers. They buy everything.
This is short and brief.
Mm-hmm.
What verse could I go to tell my buddy, since we don't have a mark of the beast, what verse could I go to so they can read and understand it? Because
That says what?
okay, let me say it to you different way.
Yeah.
When you was reading about the mark of the beast in Bible sale,
Uh-huh.
I mean, so well, I had this conversation with a lot of my buddies, plus my females. He said, "What verse is that God say that we'll be okay?" I said, "Okay." So since you know, what verse could I go to show them?
I'm still not. What do you mean? Okay.
All right, hold on. Okay, the mark of the beast.
Uh-huh.
We're in the Bible that we'll be okay. See, I got some people you got to show them. You got to show. I got some. I want to use this word. I ain't gonna use these words. You got some people got to show them right here. Chapter 1, verse 7, verse 9. There you go. This is what God said gonna happen. We don't need the mark of the beast because we got
The mark of the Most High.
okay. Where that said,
Ezekiel 9:4.
That's what I'm talking about. Bro. Say it again.
Ezekiel 9:4.
Ezekiel 9:4. See, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. When you want, there's two marks: the mark of the beast or the mark of the Most High.
Okay. I'm gonna put
The mark of the Most High, the seal of the Most High. You could also use Revelation 7
There you go.
and
What'd you say?
Revelation 7 and 5.
Right. There you go. See, I can say that out of my mouth. Say me, you know.
Actually, it's Revelation 7 and 3.
Okay. All right. No problem.
7 and 3.
And Ezekiel 9:4.
Right.
Like the other day, I got stuck with the Jehovah's Witness,
Yeah.
and she said that Jesus came for the whole world. And my man Rodney right here said, and I couldn't think of where it was at.
Okay.
And he said, no, I come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Mhm.
I didn't know where it was at, and I couldn't think it. I said, hold on. I'll see her again. Nice lady.
Okay.
But this one right here for my little friends I got,
Mhm.
where's it at that we gonna be like protected with God? Where is that in the Bible? With me and my friends. But now I can show them.
But what's most important of that in this conversation that you're having about be protected is to show them what the mark is. That's the key of explaining the mark itself.
Okay, they might got this part right here,
Which part?
the mark of the beast. Okay, we be able to buy another, sell another. I'm like, nope. He said, where is that we gonna be protected, covered? God,
No,
God.
but when we say you can't buy or sell nothing, that's the circumstance.
Okay.
The key thing is the buy. The key thing is the mark, because some people look at that and they don't really realize. Matter of fact, go to Jeremiah. Go to Jeremiah. This will kind of give you an understanding of where I'm going.
Man, I give you something back.
Jeremiah, go ahead.
Jeremiah 8 and 3. 8 and 3, and you read that.
Let me know what y'all get.
Zakar, yeah.
Okay,
Good.
here we go. Hey, Rodney, take
Mm-hmm.
to have Jeremiah down real good. Back and forth. Thank you. Okay. Okay, here we go. Jeremiah 8 and 3. And death shall be chosen fathers in life by all the residue of them that remains of this evil family, which remains in all the places whether I have driven them, saith the Lord of hosts.
Right. So this is speaking of Israel. Death shall be chosen rather than life. What does that mean? Death shall be chosen rather
They
than.
rather die. They go through this right here.
Mm-mm.
Ain't it?
Mm-mm.
and chose not to follow the commandments.
They chose not to follow the commandments, right? Why is it that they chose not to follow the commandments?
They don't see God helping them. So they don't see God helping them.
Write down Deuteronomy
Mm-hmm.
30 and 19.
30, 19. Go there.
Yes, go there. This is the answer when it's dealing with
It
this.
doesn't link with any of the.
No, this don't deal with the with Revelation. This is just for his question with the mark.
30, 19.
Deuteronomy 30, 19.
Okay. Okay. When you get it, let me know. Say come. $19. 30, 19.
Mm-hmm.
35 books.
Con.
I have called heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live.
So now when he says, I have set before you life and death, what is the Most High saying? You have a choice, right? Everybody said, well, the Lord gives you a choice. So what is the choice? When he's talking about life and death, what is he talking about?
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. When he's talking about do the right thing, what does that mean?
Follow the commandments.
Follow the commandments. So the commandments of the Most High and all of the principles, all the morals, all the holy days, all that makes up his commandments is you choosing life.
Right.
Now, if you don't choose that, then what are you choosing?
You don't about death.
And you choose death.
But what are you actually choosing?
Follow Esau.
Not just Esau, it could be any other person's philosophy or doctrine other than the Most High, right? So you've said, you know what? I don't want to follow what the Most High is saying to do, right? I see here, he's saying this is life, but I'd rather choose Halloween. I'd rather choose this. I'd rather choose that, right? So that's what you're choosing. You're choosing death. So now, like we said earlier, there's two marks. You can choose life and get the mark of the Most High that you read about in Ezekiel 9 and 4, where they set the mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for the abominations that's done. To know what an abomination is, to know, come back to the scriptures. Man with a man is Most High says an abomination. Eating pig is abomination. Right. So when they're seeing these things and they're saying, man, this is wicked, those are the individuals who need the mark to have the fullness of Yahushua put upon them. But those who've accepted that, they got the mark of the beast.
Right. Because
they said you can eat whatever you want to eat. You can be whatever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. So you have the mark of the beast. Now there's benefits on both sides. The Most High says, if you choose life, I'll give you length of days. And then when my son returns, you receive salvation, X, Y, and Z. Over here, the mark of the beast says, if you follow my ways, I'll give you riches. You can buy and sell. You can get position. You can get this. You can prosper in the world right now. So you got choice. Either you choose this one or you choose that one. Which one? So that's why the Lord says, this day I'm setting a record. So you can't say, oh, I didn't know.
Right.
You can't say, where did this come from? Right. Nah, Israel, you on notice. It's recorded down. You agreed to this contract. You agreed to this oath. Exactly.
Thank you, brother.
Ayandabar.
What'd you say?
Ayandabar.
Ayan.
Dabar. Khan.
What that say in
no thing. Mean it's nothing. You're welcome. No. Yeah, you're welcome. No thing. So now let's go back to Revelations 18
and 20.
And 20.
Now I know what to say to them. Thank you, brother.
Mm-hmm. So now, Revelations 18 and 20, it says, rejoice over her, thou heaven and ye holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh have avenged you on her, right? So the previous verses spoke about, alas, alas, a great city is fallen. Then it says, rejoice over her. So now others are going to be wailing and weeping and mourning and afraid. But for those who have now been avenged, now is the time for rejoicing and happiness and celebration, right? Write down Psalms 96.
Revelation 18 and 20.
Give me 1 second. I like it, but there's one that moves me better. Yes. Stay in Psalms. I don't want 96. Go to 149. This is more to the point. Psalms 149, 1 to 9. The whole song. Come. So Psalms 149 and 1. Praise ye the Lord, sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation, of saints, which we know is talking about Israel. Verse 2, it says, let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. Let them praise him. So let them praise his name in the dance. Let them sing praises unto him with the timbrel and the harp. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. Right? So now, as is describing the fall of Babylon, and then it says to go and rejoice over her downfall, rejoice. So it says in this day, we're going to sing aloud upon our beds. Why? Because now the judgment of the Most High has now come down, that it has to come upon not only just Edom, but all the heathen. Why all the heathen? Why all the heathen? Exactly. They all had us in the straits. They all had us in captivity at some point. And now this is the ultimate judgment of the Most High.
Wow.
For all of them. Right?
Why does it say beds?
Huh?
Why does it say do that same praise in your bed?
It says, let them sing aloud upon their beds.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, sometimes, this is how I look at it. You know, sometimes when, you know, you wake up in the morning.
Oh, you should thank God.
Yeah. No, but you know, when you wake up in the morning, it's like you start thinking about all the stuff that you got to go and start dealing with. And, you start to consider, I got to go prepare. Yeah, but now when you consider what is now happening, it's gonna be so joyful when you wake up in the morning. You'll sing and shout. That's the joy, and that's the salvation that has now come to Israel. Let them sing loud upon their beds. It could be physical, and then just anything that we're dealing with, anywhere we have our hands, right? Because your bed is like your foundation. That's where you rest. That's where you are at peace. So anywhere we are, that's what's going to be ours. It talks about that, I think, in Micah, where every man is going to sit upon his tree or something like that. Matter of fact, let's go there real quick. Micah, I think it's the 4th or 5th chapter. M-I-C-A-H. Micah. Right. Micah 4:4.
4:4.
So Micah 4:4, it says, but they, this is speaking about Zion, shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts hath spoken it, right? So this is after Yahushua's come back, after the war, after all the destruction, all that's transpired, and now the new days come in. Then the Lord says that it's a figure of speech that they're going to sit on their vine and under their tree, and no man, nobody is going to make them afraid. Right? That means we'll be at peace. Right? That's why we'll be able to sing aloud upon our beds, upon anything that we're setting to do. That's the time that we're waiting for. That's the time that we're desiring, but we got to go through what it is now.
We won't be talking nasty.
Talking nasty to who?
Them people.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that, but it's I guess the context of what we're talking about, because remember they still have to, the other nations, they still got to pay for their crimes against Israel. That's why the Lord is saying he's going to be the one that's going to bring that vengeance and that judgment upon them, and we're going to be happy.
But we're not going to be like in a war during that time.
No, that's
it's just that Christ's angels will come back on war. Right?
No, we will be. It talks about that in Joel, in Jeremiah. The Lord says he's going to make Israel his battle axe, right? It talks about in Ezekiel that the Most High is going to use Israel to fight against Edom because of the things that they've done. So it's going to be all of it, right? The war. Well, it's not just like the war is going to be going on and we're just going to be standing on the side, like, yeah, just standing on the side is watching. No.
It's like a game?
Yeah, it's not. It's like, yo, look what they doing. Oh, look over there. Hey, look them over. Nah. Listen, it's gonna be on.
Well, can you give me one?
Give you one what?
And so I can read. I know it's a revelation, right? What you want to know?
Yeah, what do you
Yeah,
ask?
we're gonna be fighting.
He won't be battling.
Yeah, there you go. So I can make a first feel good.
He won't battle.
We want to go out.
What about when you're going to beat your plowshares?
Okay,
That's the verse before, Micah 4:3.
Okay, well, good. There you go, 4 and 3.
But that's not war. That's gonna be after. After that, there's gonna be no more war.
Where's it gonna be at when we gonna be in there fighting, doing what God said?
Jeremiah 51, 19 to 20.
Oh, okay. I did that. 19 to 20. What do you got know?
Yeah, I do. Give me 1 second.
Take time, bro. That's all I talk. You
Ezekiel
okay, Ezekiel
25
25.
and 14.
Is it one more?
That's actually, when you read these, I'm gonna read Ezekiel 25:14 real quick. It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel,
Hey,
and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. Right? So that's clear cut. Right? Jeremiah 51:21 I gave you also talks about that thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee I will break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. So that's clear.
wait a minute. Ezekiel, that was 25:14.
25:14.
And I will make thee like the top of a rock. I should be like be a place to spread nets upon them that shall be built no more. For I, Lord, might as well have Israel with it.
Say again. In Ezekiel 25:14.
I was in 26. You see. Okay, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people. There we go. See, I can read this to that Jehovah's Witness page. Talking about God came here, or Jesus came here for everybody. Not what Jesus, God just said. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The conversation I had, see, that's why I ask you certain questions like that, when I run into certain people like that in the street, I can and talk to them in respect with, man, let me read it to you out of the Bible, because this ain't what I said. Because when I read it out of my book, that what God said, Jacob, who I love, excuse me, ma'am, Esau, who I hate, do it look like he want them to be with him back then? She just stared at me. Yeah, she looked at it. She gave me that nigga look. Excuse me,
Let's get this information.
right? I got it all in the book.
Okay.
And then I went to Obadiah, there'd be no remaining of a house of Esau. Man, do it sound like Jesus came here for everybody? She looked at me, she gave me a look.
Yeah, look.
I ain't been, so I wouldn't better mess up your class, but she looked at me, yeah, that sound like Jesus came here for everybody. Then I went,
They think we dumbfounded.
Right.
When
Yeah,
they
when it
They
comes
find
to-
out how much you know about the
comes to
Bible, they be
experience.
walking away from it.
I had my suit on and I had my shorts and sneakers on.
Yeah, when it comes to
Keep my hair out.
Chris know about the Bible, they get kind of afraid, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Wonder how you found this out.
I've been hanging with the Israelites. That's up out this house. Yep.
All right, so let's go back. Let's finish up.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I got something to work with.
Okay.
I better stop before I get shot. You gotta go.
So now Revelations 18
21.
and 21.
21.
Oh, this is, you'll get this in church. Pastor ain't telling you nothing like this in church. He got a big book up there too.
You say this for
And,
everybody.
excuse me, somebody,
Come.
look here, next door around your house is the church.
Yeah.
And I've been talking to the pastor when he walked by, I hit him about 2 or 3 verses. This is, he came the other day when my man who lived next door, he said that he was a witness. He said, hey, come and tell him about them 12 people. I said, what you mean them 12 people? Man, that's the 12 tribes of Israel. And he's the head pastor of the church.
Okay.
Hey, come and tell him about the 12 people.
What I'm trying to do.
What you mean, 12 people?
Before we read 21, you can write down 2 more verses for 20. Write down Isaiah 44. Isaiah 44.
40,
44, verse 23.
43,
And Isaiah 49
49,
and 13.
13. Do this go with what I was talking about or you talking about?
This is going with verse 20, the precept for verse 20, as far as we'll rejoice over her.
All right. Thank you, bro.
So now we're in verse 21,
Okay, so Isaiah 44 and 22. What's the other Isaiah?
49, 13.
Hitting hard.
Yes, he is.
So now verse 21, it says, and a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down and shall be found no more at all. Right? So that's why you got the camp, the great millstone, because that's how it's going to come down. Like you took a millstone and cast it to a sea and it just sinks. That's how Babylon is going to get crushed and come down, right?
Okay.
That's real good.
So you can link up Jeremiah 50. '51 and 60.
51 and 60.
Jeremiah 51 and 60. It's a lot of verses, right?
That's good, though.
Jeremiah 51 and 60.
Here's our food, brother. Here's our food.
Now remember, I'm going here because it talks about the great millstone that was going to be cast into the sea, right? Saying that with violence, Babylon was going to be thrown down. So now in Jeremiah 51 and 60, it says, so Jeremiah wrote in a book all the evil that should come upon Babylon, even all these words that are written against Babylon. And Jeremiah said to Jeremiah, when thou comest to Babylon and shalt see and shall read all these words, then shalt thou say, O Lord, thou hast spoken against this place to cut it off, that none shall remain in it, neither man nor beast, but that it shall be desolate forever, right? It says, and it shall be, when thou hast made an end of reading this book, that thou shalt bind a stone to it and cast it into the midst of the Euphrates. And thou shalt say, thus shall Babylon sink, and shall not rise from the evil that I will bring upon her, and they shall be weary. Thus far are the words of Jeremiah. So it's the same. It was symbolic to say, take all this, bind it up, and cast it into the Euphrates. Same way it's like what we read in Revelations, cast it into the sea. It's symbolic of the downfall of Babylon. Right? So that was Jeremiah 51, 60 to 64. 60 to 64.
Also, you can link Nehemiah. Nehemiah 9 and 11. NE8. NEH. No, NEHEMIAH.
Oh, Nehemiah.
Yeah, I was just abbreviating.
Nehemiah, what is it now?
9 and 11.
9 and 11.
That's in the New.
Old Testament.
I got it.
Nehemiah 9 and 11. And thou hast did divide the sea before them, so that they went through the midst of the sea on the dry land, and their persecutors thou showest into the deeps, thou threw us into the deeps, as a stone into the mighty waters.
Get rid of them.
9/11. 9/11.
So now, let's go back 2 more verses, 3 more verses. So it says in Revelations 18 and 22, and the voice of harpers and musicians and of pipers and of trumpeters shall be heard no more at all in thee, and no craftsman of whatsoever craft he be, Karash, shall be found any more in thee, and the sound of a millstone shall be heard no more at all in thee, meaning the workers, right? It says, and the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived, like what we read earlier. It says, and in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints and of all that were slain upon the earth. So the Lord says, now is nothing going to be left of her. Why? Because within her were slain all of these different individuals. So the last precept, you can link this up, was Jeremiah 51. And 47 to 49. Jeremiah 51, 47 to 49. And it reads, it says, therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and all her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, saith the Lord. As Babylon have caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. Right? So everybody's going to now look back to Babylon and see that fate and see that judgment. The same way we fell.
Hey, that's why I asked him that certain question earlier.
He was here, yeah.
Where's that the mark of the beast will become? He gave it to him.
Actually, I mean, when you read, if you notice, we spent a lot of time in Isaiah, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah.
Yeah,
I know.
And in those chapters, when you read those chapters, it's more to it. It's describing all of the same thing. From Isaiah, Jeremiah, you read a lot from Jeremiah, like 47 all the way up to 51, where we at 52. It's describing everything, the same thing that's in Revelations pertaining to that. Same thing with Ezekiel 26, 27, 28. It's describing the same thing. So it's
and what's that one, Ezekiel 38, 39? Or 36 and 37 in Ezekiel.
20, I think it was 28.
In 2 chapters, they
Yeah.
side by side.
27, I think 27, 28, or 26 and 27. Yeah, 26, 27, and 28 cover the same thing, like Jeremiah, I think 50, 51, 52. Pretty much all talk about the same. All right, so it's 2 o'clock. We've concluded Revelations, the 18th chapter. We're going to take a break, get a quick bite to eat, shake a leg, and we'll come back and we'll finish up in Revelations 19. All right. So stay tuned. About 2:30. Most High's will, we'll be back on.